Let's get an update on the roads this morning. In our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here is Jim Telemonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. On 94 in northwest Indiana, we've got a ramp closure going from eastbound 94 to State Road 49. There's a closure there due to a rollover crash. A collision reported on I-80 near 355, and there's also one near LaGrange Road. This has a couple of lanes blocked. I-80. Payless Park, there's a collision on 83 at LaGrange Road. So after some quiet moments during the early morning, things have picked up a little bit in the crash department. We're not seeing any significant delays on the Chicago expressways. You will have auto show traffic later this morning. The auto show is open today, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., and this report is a service of the Chicago Auto Show. Shake off winter and visit the Chicago Auto Show at McCormick Place, now through the 20th. Download the Chicago Auto Show app for the chance to win a 2-year lease on an all-new Buick Envision or GMC Acadia. Find out more at ChicagoAutoShow.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, here is our meteorologist, Kevin Sniper.
A full day of sunshine today with a high 46. Then it will be a mainly clear night tonight with a low 30. Another full day of sunshine tomorrow with wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour for the afternoon with a high 46 and a low tomorrow night of 26. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently in Chicago, 28 degrees at O'Hare, 33 along the lakefront. It's 29 at Midway. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth. Tune in Saturday afternoons at 2 for Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And so did you watch the Grammys last night?
I did. Beyonce got beaten down. Her little baby bump didn't help her because Adele took Album of the Year, Best Song. She spanked her. But her acceptance speech for, I think, her fifth award. Did she literally spank her? Yeah, she's like, turn around, baby. I'm going to spank you. Woo! No, excuse me. In her last acceptance speech, because, they kind of get old after your fifth time, she thanked Adele the entire time, which was, she thanked Beyonce.
This was supposed to be like a mini DNC. I didn't watch a lot of it because I don't watch self-congratulatory award shows. I did see this Joy Villa, the singer-songwriter. She was there in a Make America Great Again
I did see that. A
dress.
gown.
What do you call those things?
Those are called gowns.
Gowns.
They're evening gowns because you wear them in the evening, hence evening gown.
Yeah.
And then on the back it said Trump near her rump.
Oh.
It did. It was a beautiful gown. I'm surprised they let her in, knowing she was making such a strong political statement.
No, I don't know who any of these people are anymore. I know who Adele is only because of that fat parody song, that exercise parody song that they made. But Villa.
Well, let's hear.
Like,
what does she
Chance the
sing?
Rapper. I know he's from Chicago. It's about that's where my knowledge starts to break up. Joy Villa. Here's a little sample. This is a song called Vagabond from Joy Villa. A little bluesy beat to it. I like that.
Add the snare drum. Kick it
Got
up.
it.
Kick it up.
More cowbell.
My heels are itching to hit the road. Shake the stress off and just let go. I want glitter like a disco ball. Let my light shine and just take off. My heart is pounding to just be free. Body swaying like a Cali palm tree.
Wait for it.
Vagabonds, we keep on going.
Vagabond.
We keep on going.
Like Wanderer.
Bag of
Yeah.
bones.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Welcome to the Eric and Kathy show. We've got some Maroon 5 cuts coming up later. So
Winners and losers of the Grammys, 312-642-5600.
the winners. So do you know Chance the Rapper? This is the
I
big
do.
Chicago story.
Yeah.
Do you know him personally?
No, I don't know him personally.
Oh.
No, I didn't make out with him or go to prom with him. So
Yes.
if that's what you're asking, I did not.
He's about 60 years too young.
Oh,
Oh.
so mean.
Hey, Edward James Olmos is still alive and kicking.
Oh my God.
So
They're still.
So do your kids listen to Chance the Rapper? Do you listen to Chance
They
the Rapper?
they listen to him. I don't listen to Chance.
I
know who
it's
he is.
interesting. This
Well,
is like
do you listen to him?
No, I don't. I know of him, but I don't know his music. Maybe I've heard a song, maybe I haven't. I don't know. But this is interesting, cultural discussion. Music has great impact on culture. So I'm just asking the questions. Maybe Chance the Rapper's the new third base, and I should
and you should.
I should pay
No.
attention to him.
You're too busy listening to One Direction.
I do like One Direction.
do?
As you know, when Zayn left, I auditioned to backfill his slot. I didn't get it, but I'm still a fan.
Okay.
Do you want me to sing "Story of My Life"? We'll do that a little bit later. But for the Adele song,
Yes,
the Adele, she sang "Hello" last night, as I understand it, right?
of course.
And
I thought that song was 2 years ago, but she still won a Grammy for that song. But okay.
it was just last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, but early on in the year.
I think it's
so-
the most listened to song in the history of mankind.
Hello.
Yeah,
You like that?
I like it if you stop there. But this is just a recent. I mean, the times we play, music or a cut from source is just to play the parodies, and this is one
Oh.
of the great song parodies of all time. This parody of Adele's "Hello."
Hello, it's me. I've avoided you forever while consuming calories. I love donuts, mac and cheese. They say kale is antioxidants, but I'm anti-leafy greens.
Hello, can you save me? I'm in calisthenics dreaming about Netflix and Mickey D's. When I was younger, these jeans used to fit me, now my booty's got them bursting at the seams. There's more circumference to my gut and no gap between my thighs.
I mean, this is the artists are Bart Baker and Emily Hughes. Those are the two
They're
doing this parody.
Sing beautifully.
How good is this? I mean, that's the thing. It's so well written, but they can really both sing.
Hella cravings for some fries. How did one push up and I cried? And my glutes up shaking every time that I lunge. And this gluten-free bread tastes just like a sponge.
Hella pizza late at night. I keep saying just one more slice, and I feel so hungry. Breakfast, dinner, and lunch, and the ice cream truck is the only reason I run anymore.
That's my favorite line. The ice cream truck is the only reason I run anymore. So did Weird Al Yankovic win any Grammys?
No, I don't think so. I mean, all I know is Adele won 5, and then during her acceptance speech where she praised Beyonce, it fell in half. Her Grammy actually.
Did you see that
Tore in half.
CeeLo Green actually went dressed up as a Grammy?
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Oh, see, you watched it more than
I
you're
just
leading
saw
on.
some of the stuff on Twitter and whatnot. But this goes back to what Andrew Clavin said to us, a screenwriter turned conservative, said to us last week when we spoke with him about the conservatives need to do an award show. We need to elevate artists, the influence that artists and music and acting and all the range of arts have on culture. We shouldn't see that battlefield. And so maybe the way to start would be to have like parody songs.
Oh, right. And have them
And do
win.
our parody
Like,
Grammys.
those two should have won a Grammy for that song.
Best, or new category, best parody. By the way, they didn't do best female artist, best male artist. They didn't do any of that stuff, did they?
No, they did not.
It's just artists. It's
Just
not
artist of the year, best pop artist, #1 album.
It's gender neutral.
Yeah, from what I'm seeing here, yeah.
Oh, really? They don't do best female artist, best new female artist anymore, best male artist, best new male artist? I'm not sure that's true.
Hold on. Don't.
I don't
Can
think
you sing
that's
for a
true.
second? Some interlude music, please.
Yeah, all right.
Hello, stationary boy.
That's me.
That's not sweat, my body's crying. Emotion don't start with every squat that I've done. And this veggie smoothie makes me wanna throw up.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
We're breaking down this list here. Forecast for today, plenty of sunshine. Our average high for this time of year is 35 degrees. We're going to have a high of 46. And then tomorrow, once again, plenty of sun, breezy and mild, a high of 46. Let's go into our alarm detection system traffic center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Northwest Indiana, a crash on eastbound 94 blocking the ramp to State Road 49. It's a crash on eastbound I-80 past LaGrange Road. 2 left lanes are blocked. And there's one in Payless Park on 83 at LaGrange Road. These slight delays now on the inbound ride of the Bishop Ford. On the outbound ride at 47th, there's a crash in the express lanes. The car hit the wall and is facing the wrong way. The other expressways and tollways still look pretty good. Have a few delays on the CTA Blue Line. There's some debris on the tracks near Oak Park. That's been cleared now. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth. I had a failed root canal, and it was causing me pain. Dr. Neruzzi took care of my tooth, and I got my implant. And then I had another after that fail, and he did that one as well. And the experience was, they were amazing. It was not painful at all like I thought it was going to be. And I was very, very, very nervous about the whole thing. Nobody enjoys getting, implants or dental work. And I procrastinated, but I had to have it done. And he took me in immediately and took care of it. And he made it really affordable. They're very accommodating to people that cannot afford to have it done. I would recommend Dr. Neruzzi to anybody, and I have given him referrals. My own sister had hers done by him.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
As a parent, you want what's best for your children. That means sending them to a school where they'll get the superior education they deserve, and that also shares your values. That can be tricky these days, as public schools have changed and private schools can be expensive. Your household budget has already been cut to the bone, and it's hard to imagine where you'll find that extra money. Well, there's help to lessen that financial burden and provide your child with the very best education at half the cost. At AM 560 The Answer, we work with private schools throughout the Chicagoland area to provide tuition for families at half the normal cost. Just log on to halfpriceschools.com and you'll find some of Chicagoland's finest private schools, from preschool all the way through high school, at half the cost. And chances are there's a school right in your neighborhood. Invest in your child's education and future at halfpriceschools.com. A limited number of half-price vouchers are available. Go to halfpriceschools.com now.
Last winter was pretty much a piece of cake, but this winter, we're told, is gonna be a doozy.
Well, the Farmer's Almanac forewarns that bitterly cold, if not downright frigid, numbing cold weather will be predominating over these parts this winter.
Not looking good, but you can be ready. Smart businesses rely on Air Comfort to keep them and their customers warm this expected frigid winter. Air Comfort is one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with dedicated factory-trained technicians that take a scientific approach to analyzing your system. They have comprehensive year-round preventative maintenance programs and emergency service, plus design, build, and install equipment for new construction and retrofits of existing mechanical systems. Now is a great time to call Air Comfort and schedule an analysis of your company's mechanical system by their certified award-winning engineering team. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, Dan, just so you know, there is no best male artist, best female artist.
Yeah, so that's
at
a
the Grammys.
change the Grammys made in recent years. And good for them. That's what I want to see. So I want the Oscars.
Mm-hmm.
There's no best female actress, best male actor.
Okay.
I want all gender neutral, just like professional sports, all gender neutral. No male, female, all gender neutral. The Grammys leading the way. Congratulations to them. I want to see how that works out.
And the 21 Pilots, they won for best group performance, and they got up there and took their pants off. Actually, they took their pants off in the seats and then got up on stage, and everyone was wondering why, because there's really no dress code at the Grammys.
Yes.
But they said they were sitting at home, all of them, last year watching, saying, hey, if we ever win a Grammy, let's take our pants off. And they actually won a Grammy, so they took their pants off.
That's exactly what happened to spark that protest outside Trump Tower on Sunday.
Oh,
a bunch of socialists said, hey, if Donald Trump ever wins, let's go to Trump Tower and take our pants off. And that's what they did. We'll get to that.
Oh, yeah, the moon in. I think I saw you there, Dan.
As an observer, as an anthropologist.
There's a lot of observers.
Yeah, I was recording the death of civilization. But sticking with the arts, Saturday Night Live, they brought Melissa McCarthy back to bring her Sean Spicer impersonation back.
First of all, I'd just like to announce that I'm calm now. And I will remain calm as long as you sons of... I'm not going to do that because that's the old Spicy. And this is the new Spicy.
Yeah, it's funny. It's already wearing on me, but it's funny.
It's great.
It's funny that they also elevate Glenn Thrush, formerly of Politico, now of the New York Times, who immortalized himself in those John Podesta emails, calling himself a hack to the Clinton campaign because he was providing stories he was doing for Politico to the Hillary Clinton campaign for review before he published them. Make sure it was okay with them before he sent them to his editor for publication. But Glenn Thrush in Saturday Night Live, he's one of those elevated journalists standing above the fray. He's the good guy trying to deal with the lunatics of the Trump White House, starting with Spicer.
Okay, did that. Now I'm going to open it up for questions, and I'm going to probably freak if you start asking stupid ones. Speaking of freaks and stupid ones, Glenn Thrush, New York Times, stupid hat, go!
Stupid hat.
Look, I just wanted to know what the president intends to do now that the appeals court denied your request to stop the travel ban.
You're testing me, big guy. Look, it's simple. If the appeals court won't do what's right, President Trump will see them in court, specifically the People's Court.
That isn't real.
That isn't real. I'm Glenn, and I'm not really. It is real, Glenn. It says that right before each case, Glenn. It says the cases are real. The rulings are final.
And then also other topics covered, of course, were included Ivanka and Nordstrom, the flap from last week.
And then there was some light terrorism this week when Nordstrom's
Light terrorism.
decided to stop selling Ivanka Trump's line of clothing and accessories. Okay, and that's Nordstrom's loss because these are high-quality products. In fact, I'm wearing one of her bangles right now. It's beautiful, it's shimmery, it's elegant, and at $39.99, it is an unbelievably affordable. Okay?
That was funny. That was a funny part.
I didn't laugh. At one point in time, they joked around about Chicago's homicide rate. And I just went, oh, now we're a joke and we're now a parody on Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
considering that two 11-year-old and 12-year-old girls were shot in the head over the weekend.
Yeah, it's funny. The parody is, Trump and the Trump White House got the murder stats on Chicago wrong. Yeah. And so that's funny.
As you know, we do need someone who's going to bring back law and order because places like Chicago, the murder rate is over 80%. 80% of the people in Chicago have been murdered and are dead. And that's on you. You did that.
Yeah, okay. You know what? I'm looking at the real numbers here, and they directly contradict everything that you
a leaf blower.
Yeah, so that's
But Melissa McCarthy is from, oh my, time to get up. Excuse me.
That's funny that Trump got the murder stats wrong because there's no problem in Chicago. Is that the position of Saturday Night Live? And as you said, boy, the timing of that couldn't have been worse for them.
I know.
I was on the South Side on Saturday night. I was 20 blocks north of where one of the girls who was shot in the head was shot in the head. And so we had a 12 and 11-year-old girl both shot in the head, innocent bystanders on Saturday night. That's funny for Saturday Night Live.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Don't go to bed another night worrying about unfiled tax returns or the letters or the calls you're getting from the IRS. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS, there's actually good news. The IRS has recently enacted changes in the tax law called the Fresh Start Initiative, specifically for troubled taxpayers who owe the IRS. You may be able to settle your entire tax debt for up to 85% off the original amount owed, including penalties and interest, if you qualify. Call for your free consultation with Comprehensive Tax Solutions. No matter what tax issue you're facing, one call to Mary Karpowitz of Comprehensive Tax Solutions, family owned in Chicagoland, can show you the difference between night and day so that you can enjoy what matters most to you. Don't spend another day or night hiding from the IRS. Call 708-478-6770, 708-478-6770, or go to resolveyourtaxproblems.com. That's resolveyourtaxproblems.com with Comprehensive Tax Solutions.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I'm endorsing this prediction just because I want it to be true. Hillary Clinton running for president again in 2020 at 5:38.
And what the moon meant for you. But first, let's go to the newsroom. The man is always properly dressed. Here's Mike Scott.
29 degrees, a state of emergency in effect on a spillway in Northern California as a dam is near collapse. Public safety officials have ordered the evacuations of 200,000 amid concerns the Oroville Dam's crumbling emergency spillway could unleash floodwaters on areas below. The Oroville Dam is the nation's largest earthen dam. President Trump hosts Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau at the White House today as it considers its options, and it continues to fight a suspension of the president's controversial travel ban. Senator Chuck Schumer on CBS's Face the Nation.
It doesn't really make us safer. It doesn't focus on the areas where we really need to tighten up.
Republican Senator Jeff Flake says Congress needs to have a hand in immigration reform.
We have the DACA kids that are going to be, that's going to come up and visit us because some of them are timing out of the program they're in now. And the president has expressed a willingness to work with Congress on that.
The administration could seek a trial on the district level in Washington state or file an appeal with the Ninth Circuit. Two huge snowstorm systems are threatening millions from New England and into the southwest. As much as 2 feet of snow expected on the New England coast, rain, snow, and ice across a big stretch of the southwest. The weekend death of Detroit Red Wings and Tigers owner and Little Caesars Pizza founder Mike Ilitch being felt around the Midwest. Yvette Price of Detroit says the influence of the Ilitch family extends beyond Michigan's border and beyond the nation's border when it comes to sports.
It was huge for Windsor because if Michigan is not going to the Casino Windsor to visit and to use casino and listen to shows, then we as Windsorites and even as far as Toronto are coming over to Michigan.
Ilitch died at age 87. He founded Little Caesars Pizza in 1959. After his minor league career with his beloved Tigers ended, he bought the Red Wings for $8 million in 1982. An Illinois court is set to take up a motion filed by the state attorney general to halt state employee paychecks until lawmakers solve Illinois' budget impasse. Legislators are simultaneously considering a threat by Governor Rauner to veto one of two proposals to keep those payments going. A North Suburban Waukegan man accused of selling drugs and a gun to an undercover officer last summer is in custody following his arrest in Florida. Keontae Wilson faces multiple charges. Cubs and Sox report for spring training in Arizona this week. 3 of the top 12 of the AP college basketball poll fell Sunday, including Wisconsin in Madison to the Northwestern Wildcats, 66-59. the news service of the Chicago Auto Show on Snapchat, and find out how you can win free tickets to the nation's largest auto show, the Chicago Auto Show, now through the 20th at McCormick Place. Visit Chicago Auto Show's Facebook page for complete rules. 5:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher tells the left to keep quiet.
We keep hearing about what we are. This is not who we are. This is not who we are. That's become the left's mantra all of a sudden. I love them telling us who we are. You know who we are? We're a country that elected the person you didn't want to win. Who we are is not who you wanted us to be.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool.
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes or have 2 or more years in unfiled tax returns? Is the IRS threatening you? Executive Tax Resolution Services, a group of ex-IRS agents, accountants, and tax attorneys can help. Let Executive Tax Resolutions negotiate with the IRS for you. Call them now at 1-888-895-2776. That's 1-888-895-2776. Call Executive Tax Resolutions at 1-888-895-2776. 1-888-895-2776.
5:37 and a quick check of the roads. Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center time. Here's Jim.
Eastbound 94, the ramp to State Road 49 remains closed with a crash. We're seeing mild delays on the inbound Stevenson Rhine and Bishop Ford. Traffic is a service of Geico Chicago. Hey, Chicago, Geico now has even more ways to save you money. Your local Geico agent is ready to deliver the personal service you need with the savings you love. 773-582-AUTO. That's 773-582-AUTO. Your local Geico agent. It's traffic. AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, sunny. 46 today, 30 overnight, 46 tomorrow. 28 at O'Hare. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Military Mortgage Talk with host Tony Gatliff. Sunday mornings at 9 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We're going to get to Hillary's launching her next presidential run.
Is that a joke?
Not a
joke. Is that an SNL spoof?
This is from Annie Carney in Politico. Hillary Clinton is running again. We'll get to that. But I want to ask you this, Amy, because the fallout from the whole Nordstrom-Ivanka flap, Nordstrom dropping Ivanka's clothing line, and then the reaction from the Trump administration, starting with her father, the president, and down to Kellyanne Conway, and then the reaction from the left. This was one of the tempests in a teapot last week. D.C. McAllister, tries to capture the larger issue here in the Federalist. She writes that the calls out for Ivanka Trump show liberal love for women is a sham. Despite the P March and all of that business, is that right that the left wing's love of women is a sham? Their love of women is very much like the NAACP's love of African Americans. It is women of a certain political persuasion, just as with the NAACP, as Rush Limbaugh famously did, adding a letter to its name, NAALCP, liberal colored people. In terms of the title, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. You have to add liberal into it. So it's the same thing here. The feminist movement, the women's rights movement, this is for and by and from liberal women, and that's it. So the other half of the population of women need not apply, need not participate, are going to be cast as the villains. And she cites an example, Ivanka Trump tweeting out a picture of herself at the White House with her young son Theodore on her lap, and she tweeted out, taking a call in the White House with my personal assistant Theodore.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. And that, of course, received the invective of the left, an actress who's in that Broad City comedy. Have you heard of this? I've seen some episodes. It has its moments. Ivanka Trump, is this a joke? You are making a mockery of women, working mothers, and moms who are homemakers without additional careers.
Say that one more time.
She tweeted, this actress, Ileana Glazer, in response to the tweet I just described, taking a call in the White House with my personal assistant Theodore, with
I'm
a
looking
heart.
at the picture. It's so cute.
Just her sitting on a ledge with her son taking a phone call. That's it.
Yeah. It's great. It's what a lot of working mothers do every single day.
And the response is this a joke? You're making a mockery of women, working mothers, and moms who are homemakers without additional careers. I don't understand.
Once again, they're grasping at straws.
Well,
looking stupid in the process.
Here's the interesting thing about this, and this is instructive for center-leaning women, Republican women, conservative women. It's also instructive for liberal women. Ivanka Trump, is she some hard right conservative?
No, she's actually was a registered Democrat and couldn't even vote in the primary in New York.
Well, yes,
in general, she voted, obviously.
But she's liberal.
I know.
She's pro-choice. She buys into the specious economics of the left when it comes to things like this ersatz equal pay issue. She buys into the junk science of the left without qualification. But you see, it doesn't matter because they play the guilt by association game. You think they treat Ivanka Trump as an individual? She's, a late 30s successful woman in multiple arenas, construction as well as fashion. She's got a family. She's still working. Of course, everybody who's seen her speak, which is everybody in the world by now, knows that she carries herself in a very dignified, self-assured way.
She's a better speaker than her father, a better orator than her father.
And all of that matters not.
But they don't listen. I mean, I was at a weekend, a ski weekend, and where I was trying to talk to these women, and I said, do you understand who Ivanka Trump is? They have no clue. I said, she's even donated money in the past and supported Planned Parenthood, but they don't care because they're so mad and so angry. I can't listen to the facts. They don't even read up on Ivanka Trump. They don't even know that she's secretly on their side. She wore white to the inauguration.
Maybe this is a lesson
for the suffrage movement.
Maybe this is a lesson for Ivanka Trump as well, then. Maybe she better reevaluate whose side she's on some of these issues. Maybe she should do a little bit of digging as well. And those who would coddle to trying to educate these nasty women, and they wear that as a badge of courage and a badge of honor, I know. But
I got a friend with a horrible acronym I can't even say on the air walking around Chicago on a T-shirt.
Well,
still angry.
It turns out that actually is self-identification. You know, they think that somehow this is them embracing scorn. No. It's actually them describing the vitriol they espouse. That's what's actually happening. So it's quite instructive, and I appreciate them identifying themselves so everybody knows who's who. And speaking of nasty women, Hillary Clinton is running again.
Hey. Come on.
No,
Dan, it's Monday morning. Not even 6 a.m. yet.
Why?
You're making funnies.
This is great news.
What's going on?
So this is the argument that Annie Carney lays out in Politico. It's not a crazy case that she makes. It really isn't. Couple of pieces of evidence she uses to suggest this is happening. Why, for example, would they shut down the Clinton Global Initiative? Why would they shut it down? There's no advantage now other than a political one. So why are they going through with it? Take that off the table for 2020. Number two.
Well, they're not getting the donations they used to get.
Yep.
Because they didn't win the contest.
Number two, the rumors that were circulating about her running for mayor of New York. That's, is that just for the thrill of it, out of spite towards de Blasio? Or might there be another reason to keep alive the idea that Hillary Clinton's political fortunes aren't in the rearview mirror, asks Miss Carney. Okay, interesting point. Number three, this month, Hillary signed a book deal with Simon & Schuster. This would be her seventh book, if you count, this is Annie Carney's words, if you count her campaign policy venture, Insomnia Cure, Stronger Together. But she poses the right question. Hillary has something new to say, or maybe it's just the opportunity to go on a book tour and answer questions about losing to Trump and stay in the headlines and respond to what's going on in real time within the Trump administration, essentially be part of the resistance, as the left is terming themselves, to Trump and its most high-profile member. Interesting. Finally, she goes back to the concession speech in November, and Ms. Carney writes, absent in her remarks was any indication, as one might have expected, that she was going gentle into that good night, handing the baton to a new generation or even to a new leader. Instead, Clinton talked more about the future, explicitly including herself in that future than she did talk about the past. So basically, the trick is, how can Hillary do this in 2020 if you believe the premise that she absolutely wants to and absolutely is planning to? And frankly, with how depleted the Democrat bench is, couldn't she? She and Carney makes some recommendations. Let them come to you instead of being the 800-pound gorilla, and I mean that in both figurative and literal sense.
You think third time's the charm?
No, but that's why I wanted to run. Let them come to you rather than being the presumptive nominee, front runner. Support everyone and no one. Don't get involved in nasty primaries. Support everyone trying to take a seat back in the House, take a seat back in the Senate. All the usual things. Enter late and enter humbly, as Mitt Romney almost did while he was trying to make sense to run for a third time this past cycle. There's precedent to this. Ms. Carney, looking for precedent to buttress her case, she takes Reagan running in 68, 76 before he won in 80. But that is a completely different thing.
Why? I mean,
because Reagan wasn't a previous nominee before he won in 1980. Also, Reagan was an insurgent candidate both in 68 and particularly in 76, challenging the incumbent Republican president of the United States. He wasn't the presumptive nominee in 2008 and the actual nominee. In 2008, and the actual nominee in 2016. It's just completely different. It's not a model that can be replicated, and certainly not by Hillary Clinton. But the idea is fascinating, and I don't discount Ms. Carney's analysis at all. I think she's probably pretty close to the mark that Hillary Clinton is looking for a way to make it make sense. Do you think she wants to go down in history with two ignominious losses, particularly this last one to Donald Trump?
No.
All right.
That wasn't what she had planned for herself. Okay.
So tell all of your nasty women friends with their pea hats to save those I'm with her yard signs.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you're fortunate enough to have an IRA, 401k, or other qualified plan, you also have a tax problem. For example, a $1 million IRA is really worth as little as $600,000 after taxes. Do you really want to give $400,000 or more of your hard-earned retirement savings to the IRS? Most investors and even financial advisors have no idea that a tax-free, market risk-free solution approved by the federal government has been available for more than 15 years. Known as an IRA reboot, it provides tax-free lifetime income and a death benefit for beneficiaries. It can even be used to cover college costs or provide long-term care, all without risk from market losses. And unlike an IRA or 401k, there are no limitations on the amount you can contribute. For your free illustration and financial analysis, a $399 value, call Kelly Financial Services at 708-576-8999. That's 708-576-8999 today.
Hey, your company's IT partner should be more than just a place you call when you're having computer problems. Today, IT is beyond just hardware and software. IT is about a relationship between technology and the people who work with it. And that's where our good friends at Turnkey IT are different. They're an IT company and a people company. They help people use IT better. Now, people need help from computers and servers to cloud-based systems. Cybersecurity is very important, and advanced phone systems. People also need help finding out what's out there and how to implement exactly what they need, all with the support of the best team around. So people remember the good experience they received when working with Turnkey IT. Shouldn't your business receive the same white glove treatment? See what other AM 560 listeners already know about Turnkey IT. Local, reputable, compassionate, experienced. It's easy. Visit turnkey.pro today. Turnkey IT just does IT better. Visit turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
A new president has taken office, and now he must get to work. What will President Trump accomplish in his first 100 days? What should his priorities be? Join AM 560 for an exciting evening on Wednesday, March 22nd. It's Trump, the first 100 days, featuring Sean Hannity, Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, and Joe Walsh. See them all live at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/Trump. Sponsored in part by MyPartsGarage.com.
The U.S. economy has been getting stronger, and home values have been increasing. This good economic news presents a unique financial opportunity for you. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Many of our clients have been taking cash out of their homes, a strategy that might work for you. The smart move is to refinance your mortgage right now with Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.18%, APR 4.35%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how much we can lower your mortgage payment. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the third year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity presented by Upstream-Ideas.com. Emerson contended that foolish consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. So is politicized inconsistency. A useful comparison presented itself with Trump's nomination of Judge Neil Gorsuch the same week the fires of intolerance literally burned on the campus of UC Berkeley. Gorsuch noted that if confirmed, he would occupy the seat held by both Justices Antonin Scalia and Robert Jackson. His inclusion of the underappreciated Jackson was telling. In the seminal case of West Virginia State Board of Ed v. Barnett, arguing that compulsory unification of opinion achieves only the unanimity of the graveyard, Jackson held that students didn't have to salute the American flag or recite the pledge, and thereby protected the religious liberty rights of Jehovah's Witnesses. Gorsuch's jurisprudence has been similarly enlightened, consistently protecting the religious liberty rights of those ranging from Little Sisters of the Poor to an imprisoned Muslim man convicted of rape. Contrast that with the scene at Berkeley, the birthplace and now resting place of the campus free speech movement. Students committed acts of violence because they were intent on silencing a conservative speaker. Shall America chart her course with big thinkers like Gorsuch or Berkeley's small-minded hobgoblins?
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. If you're purchasing a home within the next year, this is very important. Your credit score is the most important factor in determining your interest rate and monthly payments. I strongly advise listeners purchasing a home to contact me as far in advance as possible so I can pre-qualify you for free. I will analyze your credit and make recommendations to improve your credit scores so you can secure the lowest rate when purchasing a home. Paying banks and other lenders a fee to get pre-qualified is ridiculous. If you're purchasing a home, give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com and get pre-qualified for free. I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee 4358, and MLS 19186.
Thanks for calling New Biotics. Are you calling for a free trial of our belly flattening breakthrough?
Actually, I already got the free trial. It totally flattened my belly.
Wow, that's great news.
But now I have a problem I never thought I'd have. My belly just keeps getting flatter. I mean, I don't want to look like a runway model, but I don't want to stop taking New Biotics either. Because seriously, I've never looked this good.
Well, here's one thing you can do. Only take New Biotics every other day. That'll keep up your results without making your belly too flat. And if you ever need to ramp up your belly flattening results again, just go back to taking it every day.
To get your free trial of New Biotics, call 1-800-936-2994. You're going to love how you look. And if your belly flattening results are too dramatic, simply reduce use to every other day. But hurry and call now for details while they're still giving it away for free. Call 1-800-936-2994. That's 1-800-936-2994. 1-800-936-2994.
Hey, there's a lot of talk right now about school choice. And if you've always felt like you didn't really have a choice to send your kids to a private school because of the cost, then listen up. We want to tell you about halfpriceschools.com. At halfpriceschools.com, you can find local private schools from all over the Chicagoland area that are offering a voucher for a full year of tuition at, you guessed it, half the price with no catch. Find a school near you, purchase a tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school. It's that simple. Now, there's schools located all across the Chicagoland area, including Indiana. There's places in Chicago, Arlington Heights, LaSalle, Peru, just to name a few. So make private school a real option for your family for the first time this year, but do not wait. These vouchers will sell out. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com.
5:57. Let's get an update on the roads now. In our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Bishop Ford Freeway, traffic is stop and go from Dalton Avenue to just past the Steel Bridge. There's a stall blocking the left lane, and it's heavy again from King Drive to the Ryan. 21 minutes, 8094 to the merge, outbound 5 at 15. Eden's clear, Kennedy inbound, heavy out of the River Road toll. 21 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 24, slow on westbound 190, approaching Manheim as well. The Eisenhower, 31 minutes, Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 5. Stevenson, 40 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 20 from 95th to downtown, traffic service of LifeLock. Grabbing coffee or breakfast, if you swipe your card, you leave a trail of digital information thieves can use to steal your identity. Hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to lifelock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer will continue after Fox News and your local update. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today sunny, high 46. Tonight clear to partly cloudy, low 30. Sunny and breezy tomorrow with a high 46. Partly cloudy at night, low 26. Clouds and sun Wednesday, high 35. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
28 at O'Hare, 33 along Chicago's lakefront. The news, a service of Napa Auto Parts. If you've got a hatch, trunk, or hood that won't stay open, it's time to replace your old lift supports with Turbo Lift supports. Now, $10 off a pair. $10 off a pair at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. That's Napa Know-How. Offer expires 2/28/17. At 5:58, here's are the stories that we are following here on AM 560. The Answer. An Illinois court set to take up a motion filed by the state attorney general to halt state employee paychecks until lawmakers solve the state's budget impasse. 2 young girls are fighting for their lives following separate shootings Saturday night on Chicago's South Side. Chicago activists is in the hospital following a standoff on near Lakeshore Drive that shut down activities near Buckingham Fountain. An Orland Park man is charged with the murder of his wife. Raymond Homolka appeared in court yesterday. Police say he shot and killed his wife, Mary, who was found dead Friday in their home on Sherry Lane. Chicago sports. Cubs and White Sox report for spring training this week in Arizona. 7th-ranked Wisconsin fell to Northwestern in Big Ten basketball. Your final there is 66 259. 28 degrees right now. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. His executive order halting travel from 7 mostly Muslim countries deemed terror threats remains blocked in court. So President Trump may be readying a new one. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the Trump administration is considering and exploring all options to put a travel ban in place, including rewriting the order. Policy advisor Stephen Miller believes the appeals court overstepped its authority when it refused to reinstate the ban.
The 3 judges made a broad, overreaching statement about the ability to check the executive power.
Maryland Democratic Senator Ben Cardin says the president's ban
would be used as a recruitment for terrorist organizations.
The president's still weighing the idea of legal challenges. Dave.
Rachel, nearly 200,000 people have either fled their homes or have been urged to in Northern California.
We're kind of scared and we really don't know what to do right now.
Now, the concern is massive flooding around the Oroville Dam. An emergency spillway has eroded and could fail.
It's meant to be a short-term solution. The problem was Saturday morning that auxiliary spillway went over and it kept going until Sunday evening. That's what caused some deterioration at the higher portion of that dam. If that had broken, potentially 25 feet of water would have come down the Feather River, which is where we're standing, and would have caused problems all the way to Sacramento.
Fox's Adam Housley. Water is no longer spilling over, and helicopters may be used to help repair that spillway erosion. A snowstorm will bury areas from upstate New York to Maine. Could be a blizzard in some places with 2 feet of snow. Boston Mayor Marty Walsh is urging people not to drive, and for those who do,
please use extreme caution and plan ahead. You're going to have very difficult driving conditions.
More than 400 flights to and from that region have been canceled. At the Grammys on CBS, Adele was the big winner with 5 awards.
Thank you for your patience with me and for helping to create my favorite song I've ever done.
She also got a top record on an album, though Adele said she thought Beyonce should have won that one. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
A new president has taken office, and now he must get to work. What will President Trump accomplish in his first 100 days? What should his priorities be? Join AM 560 for an exciting evening on Wednesday, March 22nd. It's Trump, the first 100 days, featuring Sean Hannity, Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, and Joe Walsh. See them all live at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/Trump. Sponsored in part by Best Dental Group.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 200 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 200 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a smooth, clean shave. But you're tired of paying $32 for new blades. Stop messing around with those generic razors and start shaving with Harry's for half the price. Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular shave set, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free when you cover shipping, a total value of $20. Just go to harrys.com now and enter code 0808 at checkout to redeem your shave set. That's harrys.com, code 0808.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Airwaves. Check out the show that's all about making money in real estate every Sunday at noon on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Asses out against Trump.
I don't think you can.
Yeah.
Is that on the list? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I think it's rumps for Trumps. That's the more civilized,
It's not-
refined version.
It's
of
not
the-
for Trump, though.
I mean,
rumps against
rumps
Trump.
against Trump.
Yeah.
That's what they're chanting.
Biggest collection of a-holes since Cubs World Series victory.
Oh, hey, that is
I mean,
mean.
is that fair?
It's mean-spirited and it's wrong.
The last Cook County Democrat Party meeting.
That's
closer, especially in terms of size too. You know, a couple of hundred of these protesters, as it were.
250 showed up and only 100 dropped trow.
Boy, you've got So they removed their heads from the sleeve where they normally place it so they could show off their thinking caps. Is that what happened?
The countdown, you've got to hear this. So they all gathered, and then they started at 25, 24, 23.
How many finished?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Family Guy trombone. I was laughing so hard because they had a trombone.
It's a glandular problem. Okay.
Isn't that great?
That's tuba.
They had a tuba there, and they had a flutist, and they were playing moon songs like Moon River, anything that has to do with the moon.
Yeah. Using the whole hand up.
They did the countdown. They played the trombone, the Family Guy trombone.
I love it.
I mean, were they making fun of themselves, making fun of Trump? Who knows?
Let me ask you a question, everybody. Everyone!
Hi, everybody.
Should we take any of the grievances that these protesters lodged, and particularly given the way they lodged them, much like the P-marchers? So you got genitalia on your head or your butt cheeks out. Those are the two main arguments I've heard from the anti-Trump crowd over the last couple of weeks. Should we take any of their grievances seriously, or should we just enjoy mocking them? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Now, before you answer that question, upstream-ideas.com, that website that complements what we do on this show, our digital platform, which we cross-promote here. We sent an intrepid reporter out to talk to some of the protesters, ask them some questions, so get a little sense of the intellectual weight, the reflective capacity of some of these individuals that were protesting outside Trump Tower, moon under Trump Tower, yesterday afternoon. So here's a slice.
Do you oppose fascism?
I do oppose fascism.
How about you?
Of course.
Do you support democratic socialism?
I'm an anarchist, so.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, so I mean, we the people is what I believe in.
Okay. How about you? Do you support democratic socialism?
I agree that we the people. It's
okay. Do you know the difference between, because a lot of people have been talking about these two different ideas, the difference between fascism and socialism? Is there a difference?
I don't dig too deep into the know-how of politics anyway. You can tell the fascisms and you can tell the socialisms.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's pretty blatant, blatantly out there, and people weigh it on different scales, but
sure,
it's pretty out there if you pay attention.
You could tell the fascisms, plural, and the socialisms, Amy.
Oh, yeah. But they were out there, and we should mention, they were out there because they want to see Donald Trump's tax returns. It was not about the Muslim ban. It was about the tax returns, and they're pretty fiery.
Donald Trump is such a vain, narcissistic dude. I feel like the best way to get to him is just petty stuff like this. Like, this is the best that he deserves, is to look at my butt.
The best that he deserves to look at my butt.
And they know the fascisms and the socialisms as they see them. These Judge Potter Stewarts out there protesting. Another example.
And Lenin has said that communism is socialism in a hurry. If we embrace socialism and get communism, are you okay with that?
If we embrace
socialism and end up with communism, are you okay with that?
I mean, at the end of the day, as long as people's rights are protected, I love America, I love democracy, I love the way how everything is, but at the end of the day, what I have to think matters, what every American thinks has to matter. So if we end up being communism, that's just going to be something that comes down the road, and it's going to something that we're going to have to face. So I would be okay with it, but we're going to have to really find out what kind of communism that
we want the good kind.
I want the light. I want the communism light.
We want the good communism.
Or the sugar-free communism.
Yeah, right, where everybody's rights are respected and everybody gets their say. The good communism.
Yeah, and then people also were protesting. They think that Donald Trump is a rapist. They're still banging that drum.
I'm concerned with the recent executive order. He puts the
the ban on Muslims. I'm concerned with the way kids will grow up thinking it's okay to sexually harass females. I think it's unfit to have a president who's openly racist in office. I don't like the cabinet that he's putting together. They've already moving to get rid of the Department of Education. They're already moving to completely get rid of the Environmental Protection Agency. Him and his cabinet, they don't believe in global warming, whereas I think it's a serious threat. I can go on and on.
We can go on and on.
Yeah, that was about as close to a cogent thought as I heard from all the coverage of the protest and all the people that were interviewed. One of the other things that we did is ask people, if not Trump, who?
Oh, yeah.
We asked them the Gary Johnson question. Name a world leader. Well, no, the other one. Name a world leader that you have respect for or that you would replace Trump with.
If you could replace Donald Trump with any world leader, any current world leader, who would it be?
That would be very hard because a lot of the world leaders are moving toward a more closed down, anti-immigrant, racist thing. I mean, Trudeau, there's an easy answer. He's close to where we are.
You replace him with
Yeah,
and
Trudeau.
he's coming to D.C. today.
Maybe he can stage a coup, and we could have President Trudeau. So there's one answer.
If you could replace Donald Trump with any current world leader, who would it be?
Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama.
World leader.
She's a world leader? Maybe they misunderstood the question. Of any person.
Yeah, basically like any person, living, dead, cartoon.
If you could replace Donald Trump with any current world leader, who would it be?
Bernie Sanders.
All right.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, Bernie.
Oh.
Feeling the burn. But I realized from those interviews, which were great, and that other people, NBC was out there, patch.com, that these protesters, they really don't know much about politics.
They voted for Trump. There's millions of people that supported him. I went to the inauguration as well, so I met a lot of people in D.C. who were 100% behind his policies. What would you say to them?
I would say it's American who is entitled to believe what they want to believe, but I think that his policies are very misguided and misinformed. I'm not a political expert by any means. I'm standing here in my underwear.
Yeah, we concede your point. Thank you for being self-aware.
They pan down and he's got American briefs on.
No,
not tidy whities, but the briefs.
A little.
That was great. I don't know much. I'm just a man standing here in my underwear.
A little candor, a little humility is always appreciated. So that's fantastic.
Thinking, pull up your pants. The mooning's over. I mean,
pull
them up.
You know what's interesting too? We mentioned this last week. Not that this got coverage because the Chicago media, but on Saturday you had the defund Planned Parenthood protests around the nation. Several hundred protests in 44 states, and including at least a half dozen in Illinois. And they would just protest outside Planned Parenthood clinics, like the one in Chicago, for example, on Division and LaSalle. And I saw them on Saturday morning, and it was about 40 to 50 people, I'd say. We've got interviews with those individuals as well. The contrast between those that were rallying to defund Planned Parenthood and those that were part of Operation Kiss Our Asses, Release Your Taxes doesn't quite rhyme, but okay.
They're heading in.
It's not bad. Outside Trump Tower on Sunday, boy. It'd be interesting to pay attention to both, to take a look at both, and then maybe consider on which side you want to lean towards. Where do you want to have been recorded as having stood after you listen to the quality of the answers and your backside as an argument, in addition to the previous salient argument of the left, the genitalia on your head.
Well, there was a lot of that at the rally or the moon, and a lot of ladies were wearing the pink hats. And I was thinking I should get a bag of them for any man on my street that's not acting like a man anymore. I could just hand him a hat. Here you go. You're outsourcing leaf blowing for an 8x12 patch of land in front of your house. Here, you deserve a hat. You deserve a hat.
You get a hat. And you get a hat.
You're home on the weekend and you're having someone still come and walk your dog. You get a hat.
I'll tell you what.
I can hand those hats out all day.
You better stock up, and I'll even help underwrite that but strictly for those that are impersonating men.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be most of Lakeview.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Well, we had a wonderfully warm weekend, and the party continues for the first part of this week. That's for sure. Today, plenty of sunshine, a high of 46. Average temperature this time of year, 35 degrees, so we're above that. And then tomorrow, plenty of sun, breezy and mild again, a high in the mid to upper 40s. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. To the king of the castle, here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. On the eastbound Adams Tollway, we're seeing delays now for the Tri-State to the Kennedy. A lot of traffic around O'Hare. It's slow then on the Kennedy to Canfield. 22 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 25, and then it's also slow on westbound 190. Traffic headed to O'Hare, slow from the Kennedy to Manheim. The Edens is still fine. The Eisenhower, 32 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 29, Stevenson, 40 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Bryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, slow from Sibley to past the Steel Bridge, where a stall just cleared. It's a 5 or 6 minute delay. Northbound Tri-State heavy at 290. In northwest Indiana, there's still a ramp closure. The ramp from eastbound 94 to State Road 49, locked after an earlier rollover. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, have you thought about what you're getting that special someone in your life for Valentine's Day, which is tomorrow? Forget the roses and candy. Surprise her or surprise him with a trip to Punta Cana. Join us, Dan Proft, Joe Walsh, in Punta Cana, courtesy of our friends over there at Apple Vacations. We'll be staying at the beautiful Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa. It's a brand new resort. It opened a few months ago, and it has all the bells and whistles, 5 gourmet restaurants, 7 bars, 24-hour room service, sparkling pools, and it's on a pristine beach. Beautiful water. So get more information and book your trip. Come and have some fun with us. Go to 560theanswer.com, keyword passport. And also you can enter for a chance to win a free trip exclusively by downloading and launching the AM 560 mobile app. Just go to 560theanswer.com/mobile and we'll see you in Punta Cana.
Hola! Hey, are you thinking about the IRS right now? Man, if the IRS is coming after you, your problem, your IRS problem is there day and night. You need help to fight the IRS. I recommend you call my very good friend, Attorney Stephen Leahy of Open Tax Resolutions. Hey, he's got a special offer going on right now. If you're not certain about your position with the IRS, he will pull your personal IRS transcripts and find out exactly where you stand for free. Find out where you stand. If you owe back taxes, if you have unfiled returns. Hey, if you're afraid of the IRS, call my friend Steve Leahy now. 312-664-6649. Steve's the host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard every Sunday at 5 right here on AM 560. He's also a really good friend of mine, and I don't know of anybody better in dealing with the IRS. Call him now. Steve Leahy, 312-664-6649. That's 312-664-6649.
This is a life-changing message for anyone with sleep apnea who is on the go and tired of dragging around a big, bulky home CPAP device. Now there's finally a portable device that's as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound. You can even add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. It's the Transcend Mini CPAP, and if you're one of the first 100 callers, you can try Transcend risk-free for 10 days. So call now, 1-800-400-9121. Transcend is the world's first portable mini CPAP device. It gives you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. Our smallest and most advanced portable design ever, Transcend is so small and so light, you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. To guarantee your 10-day in-home trial, you must be one of the first 100 callers to call minicpap.com now. 1-800-400-9121. Again, that's 1-800-400-9121.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and speaking of the Trump protest inside the Moon Under Trump Tower protest yesterday, the defund Planned Parenthood rallies all across the nation on Saturday, Donald Trump's 1988 interview with Oprah. I don't think we've ever played this.
It. No.
So
you just tend to stay clear of Oprah and Oprah-related subjects.
Well, it's a good policy, but I unearthed this, and I thought, boy, this is interesting because of the things Trump said that turned out to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But some important things that Trump said that turned out to be right 30 years ago. Very interesting. For example, Trump on Trump on Japan and trade. Now, he just met with Japanese Prime Minister Abe over the weekend. They play golf.
They did in Mar-a-Lago, and then had a nice little dinner.
Yeah, a lot
there.
of criticism from the left of Trump saying, you're promoting Mar-a-Lago to private business interests. That's a conflict of interest. You're leveraging the White House for personal gain.
It's his house.
Also,
It's his golf course.
Prime Minister Abe and his contingent stayed there free of charge. So it wasn't like he was, making the nightly rate. But anyway, but listen from remember.
Be sure to tip the maid.
This is 1988. This is when Japan was going to take over the world. They bought Rockefeller Center, and we needed to do something about Japan. And to his credit, Trump's been consistent about misunderstanding international trade, in my opinion, about being a protectionist. And the threat of de jure in the 80s was Japan. And here's what Trump said about Japan.
What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily, I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country, because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And, hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country.
Yeah, not so much anymore. They were beating the hell out of the country right up until their internal contradictions prevented them from continuing to do so. Isn't that the fact? You look back at history, and so now Trump is saying the same thing today about China, for example. And that's the predicate for protectionist policies, for the tariffs, for even the Steve Moore proposal of the border adjustment tax. And what happened to Japan in the 1990s? The lost decade, as it's called in Japan. Its corporatist policy caught up with the country, and the economy failed to grow, stagnated. Because it turns out that the vanguard class in Japan that could pick winners and losers and via their industrial policy, this is the company and that's not the company in a particular sector, they're no better at it than the venture capitalist wannabes over at Department of Energy during the Obama administration with their green energy grants to companies like Solyndra. So before we cede our hegemony to Japan in the 80s or China in the 2000s and in the 2017, maybe we should take a step back and understand a little bit about economics and maybe not be so jingoistic about protectionist trade policies. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. I know that normally stirs up a hornet's nest, but the case studies are the case studies, and the history is the history. And as Mark Stein has written so persuasively about Japan, Japan would have been better to invent the walker than the walkman, because one of the problems with Japan is they're in a demographic death spiral.
Really?
Yeah, their replacement rate right now is at about 1.2. The birth rate is like 1.2. Replacement rate, you need it a little bit over 2 to sustain yourself as a country. Japan is getting old and dying, literally. So look at China. It's still a communist country. We've talked about it in this show. The government owns more than 50% of the means of production. Its internal contradictions prevent it from being the economic powerhouse that its numbers could provide. So consider that before you want to run around willy-nilly slapping tariffs that impose higher costs on American consumers and perhaps spark a trade war that is even more deleterious to the American economy, to entrepreneurial capitalism. Now, that's on trade. Trump was wrong. On his presidential ambitions, Trump was not wrong.
And I know people have talked to you about whether or not you want to run. Would you ever?
Probably not, but I do get tired of seeing the country ripped off.
Why would you not?
I just don't think I really have the inclination to do it. I love what I'm doing. I really like it.
Also, it doesn't pay as well.
No, it doesn't. But, you know, I just probably wouldn't do it, Oprah. I probably wouldn't, but I do get tired of seeing what's happening with this country. And if it got so bad, I would never want to rule it out totally, because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country, how we're really making other people live like kings, and we're not.
But if he did run, again, 1988, but if he did run, because he didn't eliminate it entirely, here's what would happen.
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life. And if I did decide to do it, I think I'd be inclined, I would say that I would have a hell of a chance of winning, because I think people, I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off. And I can't promise you everything, but I can tell you one thing, this country would make one hell of a lot of money from those people that for 25 years have taken advantage. It wouldn't be the way it's been, believe me.
Well, you know.
He sounds more likable and in charge in 1988 than he sounds now. Maybe a little more coherent.
Well, I got to tell you,
less angry.
How much different does he sound? How much? I mean, in terms of the substance of what he's saying, how much different is what he was saying in 1988 than what he said in 2015 and 2016, and now as president in 2017? Not that much different. No. Good and bad, but not that much different. So you can't completely say that he's reinvented himself on some of these issues. I think he's reinvented himself on some of the moral issues. I mean, everything's a moral issue, but you know what I'm talking about. Abortion and marriage and some of the so-called social issues. But on the economic nationalist issues, there's not much of a reinvention.
No.
And
Prime Minister Trudeau is going to be here today, and they're going to talk about NAFTA. I mean, do you think Canada's been ripping us off for years? I mean, because you just said there, companies that have been, or countries that have been ripping us off.
No, I don't think Canada is on that list. But it's always, whoever is seen as the threat to our economic preeminence. Mm-hmm. So it was Japan in the 90s, and they fell by the wayside due to their own policies, as I suggested. And, today it's Mexico not because of they're an economic powerhouse, but because of their country that has such problems, such strife that people are fleeing to this country, and it creates other challenges. And then, of course, the real economic threat looming in the minds of people that would otherwise support free trade and the free movement of capital and labor is China. An interesting piece in the USA Today, by the way. Dan Lucas, who is the editor of a conservative blog in Oregon, Trump is surprising me in a good way. I'm grateful. He was a never-Trumper. He said, I would have voted for him if I had lived in a battleground state, but I live in Oregon, so didn't vote for him. But he says, as a Republican, what's not to like so far? I'm grateful to have a president now who shows respect for law enforcement and military. I'm beyond grateful that someone besides Hillary is appointing Supreme Court justice for the foreseeable future. I've been very pleased by Trump's cabinet picks, key appointments, notably Neil Gorsuch for the Supreme Court, Mattis, Sessions, Perry, Haley. There was one aspect of Trump's supporters that I completely missed. I was humbled and chagrined to see how we as a country have been letting down a large unrepresented segment of our fellow Americans, people living in the Rust Belt whose jobs had left, and all of the other Americans who were suffering silently with no spokesperson, no lobbyists, and no one advocating on their behalf. They found an advocate in Trump. For his supporters, he might be a flawed messenger, but at least he was carrying the message, and he was the only one who was. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'll tell you what. I agree with what Mr. Lucas writes there. The disagreement is over how to get to where Trump wants to take those Rust Belt families whose jobs have left, who've been lost, who didn't have an advocate. And that's where we have some policy disagreements, most notably in the area of trade, not so much on things like reducing domestic structural taxes. Trump and Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning.
Hey, Bob in Crown Point, you're on.
Yeah, hi. Amy was just saying that Trump sounded a lot different back in '88. It's been 25 years We've gone through the Clinton years, we've gone through Obama, even some of George W. That much more that's gotten things worse and more upsetting. And I mean, I can understand why he's more upset now and sounds, it says something, I wouldn't say irrational, but just he's more upset about because that much more that we've seen going on that nothing's been done about. It's just the same stuff over and over again, and they keep on compounding.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Bob. I also think that he's channeling people who are legitimately upset. He's trying to channel those silent families, particularly in the Rust Belt, who put him over the top, who are legitimately upset and give voice to their grievances. And so maybe because there's a revolt going on that he's the vessel for, maybe that's why his rhetoric is a little bit more hard-edged than it was sitting at this, in studio with Oprah 30 years ago.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Have you racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? You should know. The credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $500 million of debt. National Debt Relief has helped so many people, they're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Reduce a portion of your debt now. Call National Debt Relief at 800-518-4020. 800-518-4020. That's 800-518-4020.
Running a business can be challenging, especially in Illinois. Face mountains of regulations, taxes, fees, and more may be coming. Business owners who manage to survive and thrive deserve to be recognized, and that's exactly what we're doing at AM 560 The Answer. This spring, we're hitting the road again on our AM 560 Business Tour presented by Signature Bank, and we've already hit Signature Bank, and last week, Service Master in Downers Grove.
And on Wednesday, we'll be in Addison.
That's correct. It's a way for us to celebrate local businesses who are overcoming the odds and succeeding in spite of the many challenges they face. Thinking of it as making businesses great again. We want to give back to the business community by broadcasting this show live from various locations throughout Chicagoland. Does your business have a great success story? If so, we want to hear about it. Go to 560theanswer.com/business. Fill out the brief form to tell us about how you and your business are beating the odds to serve your clients and your community. We're selecting several more businesses as stops on our AM 560 Business Tour. We'll broadcast from your location to share your success with our audience. So go to 560theanswer.com/business to tell us your story. That's 560theanswer.com/business. And we may be stopping at your business this spring on the AM 560 Business Tour, sponsored by Signature Bank.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Leftist protesters try and play the role of Orville Faubus in D.C., but it doesn't stop Betsy DeVos. That's at 6:36.
And should females be pilots, captains of planes? We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
27 degrees. We have clear skies. A state of emergency in effect on a spillway near a Northern California dam that is showing signs it could be near collapse.
We thought we were okay, and then all of a sudden, bam, you need to leave.
Highways jam bumper-to-bumper traffic yesterday as folks downstream from the Oroville Dam scrambled to higher ground. Fast food workers expected to protest today over the nomination of Andy Puzder to be U.S. Labor Secretary. The White House is considering options as it continues to fight a suspension of the president's controversial travel ban. White House senior aide Stephen Miller says the Trump administration is considering all options.
You can continue the appeal on the 9th. You can seek an emergency stay at the Supreme Court. You can have a trial hearing on the merits at the district level, or you can take it en banc for the emergency hearing also at the Ninth Circuit. And yes, you could pursue additional executive actions.
Meantime, Senator Ben Cardin says he has lost confidence in National Security Advisor Mike Flynn.
What General Flynn did with the vice president, misleading him or giving him wrong information, that's not the type of person you want to have around you giving you advice.
The Maryland senator is saying revelations that Flynn discussed sanctions with Russia before the administration entered office has eroded some confidence. A senior Hamas official, a top member of that group's secretive armed wing, has now been chosen its new leader in the Gaza Strip. Yahya Sinwar, a senior commander who was freed by Israel in 2011, is considered one of the most hardline figures in that Islamic militant group. Two huge storm systems threatening large swaths of the country from New England to the southwest. As much as 2 feet of snow could fall on the New England coast, rain, ice, and snow across the southwest. Here in Chicago, 2 young girls are fighting for their lives following separate shootings Saturday night on Chicago's south side. And an Orland Park man is charged with murdering his wife. Raymond Homolka appeared in court yesterday and was ordered held without bond after police say he shot and killed his wife, Mary. Cubs and Sox reporting this week for spring training. Northwestern, a Big Ten basketball win over the Badgers in Madison. And the red-hot Blackhawks will cool their heels and take a week off. The news service of LifeLock, grabbing coffee or breakfast. If you swipe that card, you leave a trail of digital information. Thieves can use that to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to lifelock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. 6:35, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager clears up Trump's immigration policy.
These made-to-order mobs, they act as if there is no crisis of Islamic terror in the world. The language used is so over-the-top. Muslim ban. It's not a Muslim ban. It is a 120-day temporary hold on people coming in from 7 different countries that are Muslim majority.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's Galaxy's free sale. Free installation, free design, and free financing.
773-783-8300. Call Galaxy.
Check out the ammo event this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. All ammo will be on sale, including 9mm starting at $10.99. Save up to 30% on a great selection of brand name ammo this Friday through Monday. Point Blank Range and Gun Shop offers a state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, an extensive inventory of firearms, and a supportive, knowledgeable team. The ammo event is this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Visit shootpointblank.com for details. Some restrictions may apply.
Dennis Prager here for the amazing Relief Factor, the natural solution for people struggling on and on with chronic pain, like back, neck, shoulder, hip, knee, or general muscle aches and pains. My wife Sue and I are both very happy customers. I was skeptical at first, and I have never before endorsed a pain reliever. I do now. So if you're in pain, go to relieffactor.com. Check it all out at relieffactor.com.
6:37. Let's get a check of the roads. AM 560 Traffic Center brought to you by Alarm Detection Systems. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. In Lamont, northbound 83 is closed from Archer Avenue to 107th due to a crash. The Edens is 22 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 20. Kennedy, 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. Low on westbound 190 as well from the Kennedy to Manheim. Eisenhower, 39 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 32. Stevenson, 46 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 35. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, 20, 80-94 to the merge. Another stall. This one near Dalton Avenue in the left lane. Tollways are still light. Traffic is a service of Hum by Verizon. Kids borrowing the car? Now with Hum by Verizon, you can get notifications if they're driving too fast or going places they shouldn't. Find out how to make your car smarter, safer, and more connected with Hum by Verizon. Visit hum.com today. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Sunny and 46 today. 27 degrees at O'Hare. Next news at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Heard Saturdays at noon right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, newly minted Education Secretary Betsy DeVos wanted to visit a public school in D.C.
Oh, yeah, that was Friday, right?
Mm-hmm. And she was met with protesters trying to block her from entering the school.
It got so bad, one person was arrested. Did you see that?
Uh-huh.
They're like, you got to move. Say, I'm not moving. They're like, all right, well, we'll move you for you.
Isn't it interesting, the left protesters playing the role of Orville Faubus, the famous segregationist governor, infamous segregationist governor of Arkansas, who, you recall, in 1957 sent out the National Guard to prevent the integration of Little Rock Central High School. Ultimately, threatened the governor, and that stood no more. But the point is, who's preventing who at the schoolhouse door now? DeVos released a statement saying, by the way, ultimately she got in, of course. Later, DeVos released a statement, I respect peaceful protest, and I will not be deterred in executing the vital mission of the Department of Education. No school door in America will be blocked from those seeking to help our nation's children. Interesting statement. You know who agrees with that statement? Well, you used to.
Who?
Well, last week I read excerpts from now Senator Pocahontas Crocojawea, her book from 2003, where she supported an all-voucher school program at the public school level. Listen to Cory Booker, senator from New Jersey, voted against DeVos, right?
Well, they all did. Didn't they?
Yeah. Voted against DeVos.
And said to be the deciding vote.
But in 2012, Cory Booker was such a proponent of school choice, coming out of being mayor of Newark. He served on the board of the Alliance for School Choice during his tenure there. He also gave the keynote address in 2012 at an event hosted by the American Federation for Children, an organization Betsy DeVos chaired at the time. Here's Cory Booker on School Choice 2012. Cory Booker.
And then there are people that say, I'm against school choice. And I don't understand that. I cannot ever stand up and stand against a parent having options, because I benefited from my parents having options. And when people tell me they're against school choice, whether it's the Opportunity Scholarship Act or charter schools, I look at them and say, as soon as you're telling me you're willing to send your kid to a failing school in my city or in Camden or Trenton, then I'll be with you. But as far as I know, all the people representing my city right now, I'm not exaggerating, I've looked, maybe I'm wrong, but all the people representing my city in elected office that have children in schools, let's start at the top. I'm going to be out there fighting for my president, but he does not send his kids to Washington, D.C. public schools. I got a governor in the State House. He does not send his kids to Trenton public schools. I could go all the way down to city council people in Newark that do not send their kids. So what have we created? A system that if you're connected, elected, have wealth and privilege, you get freedom in this country? Yeah. And now you want to deny that to my community? No. I'm going to fight for the freedom and the liberty and the choice and the options of my people in the same way you will defend that right for yourself.
Wow. How about that? Cory Booker sounded a lot like Dan Proft in 2012. That's not today's Cory Booker.
Did you write that for him?
That's not the Cory Booker with presidential aspirations.
No, that's not.
Which Cory Booker do you like? Do you like the 2012 Cory Booker or the 2017 Cory Booker? After that speech, after that speech, he could vote against Betsy DeVos. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. In addition to being an apologist for the intolerant professional leftist agitators trying to block her from entering a D.C. school.
And that was pretty, I just watched that video. They were getting pretty physical. They were throwing things at her as well. I mean, she needed Secret Service protection and local police protection to get into the building and to get out of the building. She's a brave woman. But yeah, no, back to Cory Booker. It's so true. Look at Rahm Emanuel. He lives a block and a half away from Ravenswood Elementary School. Refused to send his kids there. Instead, now they get rides. They have drivers
Lab
that take them
schools.
to lab school.
That's what they
and
want.
that's what Obama did too. I mean, he had his kids go to UC Lab.
And then they'll go on to one of the Seven Sisters like he did. You know, they'll go to Mount Holyoke or Vassar or Wellesley
Right.
or Sarah Lawrence or
Sarah
something.
Lawrence. Yeah. Oh, my friend's daughter goes to Sarah Lawrence, and she said in the admissions office when you walk in, there's a picture of Rahm Emanuel.
Is he?
And I said, well, is he wearing the tutu? Is it Dancer Rahm? She's like, no, it's when he was a congressman. And they haven't updated the picture to say mayor of Chicago.
I believe he was still wearing a tutu when he was a member of Congress.
Stop it.
I'm not sure.
Wait, do the post.
But what about that? Boy, that underlying issue. Who is talking about school choice in Chicago and Illinois? I mean, Senator James Meeks did a few years ago. Governor Rauner has paid some lip service to charter schools, just as Rahm Emanuel has. I know there's tax credit ideas out there to fund opportunity scholarships, as is the case in other states that really provided opportunity to those people who don't have opportunity that Cory Booker spoke about in 2012. So what about that? The evidence just keeps to pile up. There's a new study about the Milwaukee school choice system, the scholarship system, which is the longest running, goes back to the early 90s, of course. That was in part led by Polly Williams, a Democrat member of the city council in Milwaukee at the time. This report by the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty finds that one of the arguments that the left makes against school choice is going to siphon off millions of dollars from the public schools. Turns out not to be true. That's the more than 2 decades worth of experience in Milwaukee. And more importantly than that, the effect of school choice to give those who want to take advantage of options. When compared to similar students in the Milwaukee Public Schools, students in the choice program at private schools are 6% less likely to be convicted of misdemeanors, 3% less likely to be convicted of felonies. There's one example of a school, St. Marcus Lutheran School. It's a private school in the Milwaukee Parental Choice Program. Graduation rates averaging around 90%, even though more than 90% of its students are from low-income families. We have examples of that in Chicago. We just choose not to scale them. We try and squash them. So we've talked with our friend Tim King from Urban Prep. Charter school, so it's still publicly funded. Charter school, 10 years ago was founded, 10 years running. It's for young black men only, high school only. 10 years running, all the kids accepted to college. He runs that basically like a private school.
Right.
In terms of the discipline, in terms of uniforms, he's helping obviously with the teaching staff to prepare young black men to be successful in life at the next level.
Perform community service. I mean, it's
and by the way,
about textbooks in the classroom.
And these are not the sons of the privileged.
No.
These are young men from families in Inglewood and East Garfield Park, all of the places where you have all of the problems that surround them. These are oases, the campuses of Urban Prep Academy in these terrible crime-ridden neighborhoods. Also, this study, talking about Milwaukee, because of higher high school graduation rates, students who use a voucher in the choice program will generate $473 million in economic benefits to Wisconsin, more than similar students in the public school system. By 2035, in total, because of less crime committed, students who are scholarship students in the choice program will generate $26 million more in economic benefit than similar students at MPS. So, there's the benefit to the individual student. There's the benefit to society at large because you're getting students educated, and it's economic benefits as well as, peace on the streets benefits. And that's why Cory Booker supported school choice. And that's why Elizabeth Warren, once upon a time, supported school choice. And that's why so many people have supported school choice right up until their political futures
because they
could potentially be jeopardized.
Right, because they need the votes and the backing of the unions, the teachers' union. Right? Isn't that what this is all about?
That's what it's all about. Jeff on I-90, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan, good morning. I'm a little lost in this whole debate, and I've been actually very frustrated with the Chicago system about getting my kids into charters or, sort of the top-level schools or the neighborhood school. I just want to know, in your view, if you could enact any change you want, what would the school system look like?
It's a great question. It's actually has a simple answer, and we have it in place right now. It's called college, our college and university system, where your public money, whether it's your Pell Grant money, your student financing, your Pell Grant, your GI Bill, your Stafford loan, it's attached to you. And you can take that money and you can go to U of I, you can go to Notre Dame, you can go to Yeshiva, you can go anywhere you want, and schools compete for the students. And it turns out we still, despite the political correctness that infects college campuses, we still have the best colleges and universities in the country. Particularly in our urban centers, we have some of the worst K through 12 systems in the country. And what's the difference? The lack of competition. So that my system is actually in place. It's just called college. So why, if it works at the post-secondary level, wouldn't it work at the primary and secondary level? That's my question to opponents of school choice. Thanks for the call, Jeff. Ron on the south side.
Hey, Dan, let me just add, and I told you I brought this point up before. So to that last caller, tell them to read up on the SNAP program that provides food, assistance for people. And again, there is no government store where you go get your food, okay? It's attached to the person, and you go buy your grocery wherever you want. I've been fighting for school choice over 25 years, but as far as Cory Booker, I don't like either one. I mean, this one or when he made the statement, I just support the position. But lastly, he talked about Barack Obama. Not only did he not send his children to the schools in Washington, D.C., him and Dick Durbin tried to squash the D.C. Opportunity Program. And I wrote him, and I've called him out on this every time. Lastly, I know for a fact when Al Sharpton, he'd go with whoever gave him $1. But I remember years ago, he was for choice. And I guess the unions got a hold of him. I've tried to have this discussion with him, but I don't think he's read a book. I told him to read Milton Friedman's book, Free to Choose. It doesn't matter if you give him $1, he'll take the position. But again, you know what? The money should go with the students. So thanks. And have a good day.
Thanks for the call, Ron. Mike on the north side.
Hi, kids. Thanks for taking my call. We can have a voucher system for kids in primary and high school grades, and it won't cost the taxpayers a dime. If you read what I wrote in my manifesto for the Love Guns, Bacon, and Trump Party, we're going to put slot machines at all the racetracks, at all the airports, at all the bus stations, and that'll pay for school choice.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for the call, Mike, and the platform. How about, I've taken it one further. How about the casinos run the schools?
Oh.
How about slot machines instead of lockers? How about the croupier teaching the math class? How about, Celine Dion leading the music department? Now you're talking. You got to integrate the two, my friend.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Forecast for today, plenty of sunshine and still mild for this time of year. A high of 46 degrees, average high 35 this time of year. Tonight, clear, a low of 30, and for Tuesday, plenty of sunshine again, but it will be breezy, mild, a high of 46 degrees. Let's go into our alarm detection systems. Traffic Center, here's Jim Delamonte.
Amy, the Edens is 23 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose outbound 22. Kennedy, 37 either way between O'Hare and downtown. The Ike, 39 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 33. Stevenson, 50 minutes. 3:55 to the drive. Ryan, 25 minutes. 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State slow from the Hinsdale Oasis to Ogden and from the Reagan to Leonard North Avenue. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The Senate to confirm the president's Treasury Secretary nominee today. The Federal Reserve making news again this week. Amazon collecting state sales taxes in Arkansas. Those stories next.
2017 is the year of Trump, and markets are rising to all-time highs. But economic uncertainty may be greater than after any election in our lifetime. And as retirement approaches, there's little time to recover losses. You need to hedge against uncertainty. That means transferring part of your retirement to physical gold and silver, stored where you can actually hold it in your hands and get it fast in any disaster. It's the perfect time to buy. Prices are low and expected to climb. Make Augusta Precious Metals your personal gold and silver provider. Augusta cares for your financial position and helps you make good decisions. And they're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. Get Augusta's free gold and silver IRA guide. What you learn could help you weather any economic storm. No obligation. Just call 855-222-6993. That's 855-222-6993. 855-222-6993. Trust Augusta. Protect your retirement today.
Steve Mnuchin, President Trump's choice to be the next Treasury Secretary, expected to be confirmed and confirmed easily by the Senate today. The Federal Reserve making headlines again this week. On Friday, the Fed's chief banking regulator said he will step down. Tomorrow, Fed Chair Janet Yellen gives her semi-annual testimony on monetary policy to the Senate Banking Committee. Sears may be selling two of its most popular brands, Die-Hard car batteries and Kenmore washers, as it moves to cut costs by at least $1 billion. Just days after lawmakers in Little Rock moved ahead with legislation aimed at e-commerce, Amazon announcing it will begin collecting sales taxes in the state of Arkansas. Amazon begins those collections on March 1st. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Go to upstream-ideas.com and sign up for premium content that complements what we do here on this show. My 60-second commentaries this week on that new Trier I Hate White People seminar that they're trying to have next week. Long-form interviews with policymakers and idea leaders. Man on the Street interviews this week featuring those from the Moon Under Trump Tower protest on Sunday, as well as the defund Planned Parenthood rallies on Saturday. We'll compare and contrast 2-minute warnings this week about a certain Chicago public school.
Get on with it already.
What?
What else can I find there?
There's a lot of stuff there. That's my point. Go to upstream-ideas.com, Amy, and sign up today.
Dr. Timothy Goodwin here. If you want a flatter belly and haven't tried my new belly flattening breakthrough, Somobiotics, yet, then I'm looking for you. Over 300,000 people are already loving their belly flattening results with Somobiotics, but I want everyone to be able to try it. That's why I'm giving away free trials right now to everyone who calls in the next 10 minutes. As a doctor, I know many big bellies are actually just bloated bellies. That's why I helped create Somobiotics, to flatten bloated bellies fast by cleansing pounds of rotting food and toxic sludge from your body. Made right here in the U.S. with natural ingredients. If your belly flattening results are too dramatic, reduce use to every other day.
For your free trial, call in the next 10 minutes for details. 1-800-600-2811. Hurry, join the hundreds of thousands flattening their bellies while Dr. Goodwin is still giving trials away for free. 1-800-600-2811. Limit 1 per household. 1-800-600-2811. 1-800-600-2811.
Hey, size matters. Look to the Italians. They made it happen. The Colosseum, the Vatican, the Tower of Pisa. And Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli Sandwiches. Yeah! Their signature subs are as big as your forearm, hefty and fully loaded with the highest quality deli meats on artisan bread. Their homemade Italian beef sandwiches are sliced paper thin, using their own family recipe. And if you can't choose between the burgers, wraps, or hand-rolled meatball sandwiches, then get them all. Feed your inner rock star. Eat amongst authentic rock and roll memorabilia while you enjoy the soundtrack of your glory days. Or pick up and go. Either way, Augie's offers fast, fresh, and affordable food, even gluten-free options. Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli, Carroll Stream or West Chicago. Be sure to visit augustinos.com for full menus and directions. And if the party's on at your house, look to Augie's for catering. Don't make it happen with Augustino's Rock and Roll Deli.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down, my blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
On programming note, just want to make sure we get this in.
Or a programming note.
Well, Lieutenant General Hal Moore passed away, immortalized in We Were Soldiers, about the Vietnam War, hero of the Vietnam War. So want to make note of that. And coming up at 7:07, we'll talk to Rich Lowry, editor of National Review and Fox News contributor, about the full range of geopolitical issues.
And National Security Advisor Mike Flynn may be on thin ice this morning. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 2 young girls shot in Chicago will get reaction from their relatives. An Orland Park man accused of murdering his wife. Chicago rapper and musician wins 3 Grammys, and the Cubs and White Sox reporting for work this week. Full forecast after Fox, WIND, Chicago News Time 7.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. A lot of people fearing flooding have fled their homes in Northern California.
And there's a lot of praying going on.
Nearly 200,000 were told to evacuate because an emergency spillway at the Oroville Dam was eroding in danger of failing.
The good news, they stopped that overflow on that auxiliary spillway late last night. Now they're able to at least drop some rocks in, and they believe that they have a hold on this cautiously, but they won't know for sure until daylight comes up and they have a better chance to take a look at it.
Fox's Adam Housley downstream from the dam. New England's getting another snowstorm. Some areas could get 2 feet. Schools are closed in Boston yet again.
Mayor Marty Walsh says his main objective is to keep the streets clean.
I'm hearing there could be another storm Thursday, so we want to make sure we get the streets as open as possible.
That forecast doesn't bother these people walking in the middle of it in Somerville's Davis Square.
We love the snow. It's our favorite time of year.
It's to be expected for New England.
In Somerville, Massachusetts, Bill Marcus, Fox News.
More than 400 flights canceled to and from Albany, New York, and New England. President Trump could issue a new executive order, this one halting travel from 7 mostly Muslim countries considered terrorists are still blocked in court. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, former Republican Congressman Dan Lundgren, who as a California's Attorney General fought the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, says the original order should have addressed green card holders.
It was not written with the precision that even they would recognize now it should have been.
Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer told CBS Face the Nation, banning travel from the 7 nations won't work.
There are would-be terrorists who have infiltrated places like Belgium and France.
The White House hasn't ruled out going back to court in addition to the new order. Dave.
Rachel, the Grammys on CBS. Adele, the big winner, with 5 awards, including Top Album, though Adele said Beyonce should have won that. Adele also flubbed the tribute to George Michael, cursed, and then said,
"Sorry for swearing, and I'm sorry for starting again. Can we please start it again? I'm sorry, I can't mess this up for him."
Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
28 degrees, and we are approaching sunrise at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. An Illinois court set to take up a motion filed by the state attorney general to halt state employee paychecks until lawmakers solve Illinois' budget impasse. Legislators are simultaneously considering a threat by Governor Bruce Rauner to veto one of 2 proposals to keep those payments going. 2 young girls are fighting for their lives following separate shootings Saturday night on Chicago's South Side. Police say a 12-year-old was shot in the head while playing basketball with friends at Henderson Elementary School. One of the victims' relatives pleaded for help yesterday as both girls remained in the hospital in critical condition.
11 and 12. Come on now. Whoever did this, they should turn themselves in.
Around 30 minutes later, an 11-year-old was shot after the 12-year-old was hospitalized. The 11-year-old sitting in a parked car near 65th and South King Drive. An Orland Park man is charged with the murder of his wife. Raymond Homolka appeared in court yesterday and was ordered held without bond. Prosecutors claim the husband actually tried to hide the victim's body in their garage, telling relatives his wife Mary was on vacation in Las Vegas. Authorities are investigating a head-on collision between an ATV and a dirt bike that killed 2 men in rural DeKalb County over the weekend late Saturday night. Chance the Rapper brings home 3 Grammys back to Chicago. The native won 3 trophies last night. Cubs and Sox reporting for duty, and spring training in Arizona this week. Northwestern's Wildcats making a strong case that they deserve to be pretty high seed in the NCAA basketball tournament, taking down the Badgers in Madison 66-59. Jordan Spieth cards a 2-under-70 in Sunday's final round to win the Crosby Clambake. You know that as the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. The news, a service of Napa Auto Parts. Participating Napa stores have Pennzoil motor oil starting at $3.49 a quart for conventional, just $3.49 a quart. That's Napa know-how. General States pricing. Sales prices do not include applicable state or local taxes or recycling fees, and the offer expires 2/28/17. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity has strong opinions about the mainstream media.
The average journalist colluded with Hillary Clinton. They never vetted her. They never looked at the crimes she committed, and there were many. They never looked at the corruption of the Clinton Foundation. They never looked at Obama and his radical associations, the Church of GD America. They're lazy and they are agenda-driven. They are alt-radical left.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 200 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 200 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a smooth, clean shave. But you're tired of paying $32 for new blades. Stop messing around with those generic razors and start shaving with Harry's for half the price. Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular shave set, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free when you cover shipping, a total value of $20. Just go to harrys.com now and enter code 0808 at checkout to redeem your shave set. That's harrys.com, code 0808.
7:05, a check of the roads. Trouble on Archer Avenue this morning in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
That's right. I've had a couple of issues on Archer. One at Harlem with a crash blocking a couple of lanes. Another near Central. And while we have a big closure on northbound 83 in Lamont between Archer Avenue and 107th, so avoid that area as well. And northbound 83 is closed entirely. In northwest Indiana, eastbound 94, the off-ramp to State Road 49 is closed due to a rollover semi. Eden's Expressway inbound, 25 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 24. The Kennedy, 38 minutes. O'Hare to downtown and outbound the same. Inbound Eisenhower, now up to 49 minutes from Thorndale to the post office, outbound 34 minutes. Inbound Stevenson, 50 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. From Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, delays are from the Stevenson to 47th, and there is a southbound crash there on the left side, and it's heavy from the Reagan tollway to North Avenue. The other tollways are good. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A full day of sunshine today with a high 46. Then it will be a mainly clear night tonight with a low 30. Another full day of sunshine tomorrow with wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour for the afternoon with a high 46 and a low tomorrow night of 26. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
28 at O'Hare. Next news 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Ayn Rand Institute and the Yaron Brook Show. Heard Saturday afternoons at 4 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Donald Trump is such a vain, narcissistic dude. Like, this is the best that he deserves, is to look at my butt.
Nobody has really said it, but his name is Rahm Emanuel. And this mayor that we have in the city of Chicago does not care about black people. And I'm going to put that on the record.
I've actually, having worked before on a campaign in New Hampshire, I can tell you that this issue of busing voters into New Hampshire is widely known by anyone who's worked in New Hampshire politics. It's very real. It's very serious.
First of all, I'd just like to announce that I'm calm now. And I will remain calm as long as you sons of... I'm not going to do that, because that's the old spicy, and this is the new spicy.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, the Sunday Talkies provided a real introduction to the nation to Trump senior White House advisor Stephen Miller, who is someone, he's a young man, he's early 30s. He right out of Duke University, where he actually made a bit of a name for himself by defending the Duke lacrosse players who were wrongly accused of rape.
Oh, really?
Yes. Then he went to work for the Hill, went on the Hill after college, worked for Michelle Bachmann, worked for John Shadegg, and then really made his bones working for Senator Jeff Sessions and being the spokesman for the Senate Judiciary Committee, helping Jeff Sessions to tube the Gang of Eight path to citizenship legislation that was advanced back during the Obama reign. And so Stephen Miller trotted out to talk about a range of issues, including this interesting exchange between he and Democrat operative Chuck Todd.
You mean the Chuckster?
On Meet the Press.
Yeah, about the future of Mike Flynn, the national security advisor.
The White House did not give you anything to say other than that.
They did not give me anything to say.
You cannot. So you cannot say whether or not
and answer, Chuck.
The president still has confidence in his national security advisor.
It's not for me to tell you what's in the president's mind. That's a question for the president. It's a question for our chief of staff. Asked and answered.
And Chuck Todd, boy, did the White House did not give you anything to say. Boy, if only some of those Sunday talk show luminaries had asked the same question of Susan Rice once upon a time. It's interesting, the whole Flynn flap. This is over his sort of changing answers on whether or not he had conversations about sanctions with a Russian diplomat prior to being elevated to national security advisor.
Yeah, he said that he didn't, and then he told Vice President Mike Pence that he didn't, and now there's alleged recordings proving that he did talk about Russian sanctions.
Well, his answer has changed a little bit from I didn't to I can't quite recall. So this is an issue, and it's one of these issues that Ross Douthat raises in his rather remarkable piece to me in the New York Times over the weekend, and I like Ross Douthat a lot. Can this presidency be saved? I'm talking about the possibility that the Trump presidency is already unrecoverable 3 weeks in. I think it's a little hysterical, but he writes, does Douthat, the presidency is in danger of his presidency, Trump's, is in danger of being swiftly Carterized, ending up so unpopular, ineffectual, and fractious that even with Congress controlled by his own party, it can't get anything of substance done. I don't know necessarily why that would be, but Douthat suggests that the kind of back and forth, war with judiciary, tax cuts, CNN or Nordstrom's perfidy, jobs, Bannon's theories about Islam and the crisis in the West, this kind of back and forth is complicating things and creating unnecessary division when he should be advancing the simple things that are popular, at least out of the gate. Big infrastructure bill, middle-class tax cut, corporate tax reform. That should be, for example, a simple linear message that is being advanced by Trump and his surrogates, and not this kind of full menu of appetizers as well as main courses that sort of confuse some of the issues. Though that raises, I think, some legitimate concerns. I'm not sure that we should be concerned that the presidency is already in jeopardy of falling apart. I think that's maybe a little dramatic. But for more on this topic, we'll get the opinion of Rich Lowry, who, of course, is the editor of National Review, Fox News contributor, and the author of the book Lincoln Unbound. Rich, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So what about Douthat's concern that this thing is over before it's gotten too much of a start?
Well, I'm a huge fan, like you are, of Ross Douthat, who I think the most impressive thing about Ross is that he's the film critic of National Review.
Yes,
but,
yes,
you know,
there you
that
go.
was a brilliant column, and I think there's a lot of wisdom in it, but I would counsel Ross and pretty much everyone who's in the commentary business, you know, we're 3 weeks in, take a deep breath. 4 years is a very long time. And, you know, there have been some warning signs here, obviously. There are, you know, concerns about Trump's temperament that have been there from the beginning. It's been at times chaotic, but it's just 3 weeks.
Well, what about the National Security Advisor, General Mike Flynn? I mean, do you think that he's on thin ice this morning?
I do. It's really quite bad. I don't think it's terrible to talk to the Russian ambassador if you're the incoming national security advisor. I don't understand why that is supposedly inappropriate or illegal, as some Democrats will argue. But be truthful about it. Be straightforward about it. And by all accounts, he wasn't with Mike Pence. And I'm sure Flynn knew that Pence would be asked about this and talk about it publicly. So indirectly, Flynn is misleading the public about the nature of his call with the Russian ambassador. So that's just, it was wrong when Susan Rice did it. It's wrong in this instance. And I think they'll have, very serious conversations about whether he can stay on or not.
There's also much talk about Sean Spicer, White House press secretary, being on thin ice. What about Steve Bannon and his column, Dothat? Wait, I always say Dothat. Is it, say it for me. Douthat. Can he change his name to Dothat so that I don't have to change my pronunciation?
Just think of doubt.
So he writes about Steve Bannon that he's trying to be both Dick Cheney and Karl Rove, and he's going to fail on both scores. Now, the flip side is Steve Bannon gets a bit of a salutation from Fareed Zakaria saying that Bannon is not a racist, he's just an unusual conservative. Zakaria saying that, he's the Trump administration ideologist representing an older school of European conservative thought that's distrustful of free markets, determined to preserve traditional culture, religion, and unabashedly celebrates nationalism, but he's not a racist like Saturday Night Live and others would paint him to be. Where does Bannon figure in all of this and the sequencing of what has happened the first 3 weeks?
Well, I think the way to look at the power structure in the White House, there are three chiefs of staff. There's Reince Priebus, there's Steve Bannon, and there's Jared Kushner. And if any of them go, they will go in that order. I think Reince is the most vulnerable, then Bannon, and the one who will never go, because he's family, is Jared Kushner. Right. But I think that's how to think about the power. In terms of his ideology, he's not a racist. There's no evidence of that. He's a populist/nationalist who really kind of channels Donald Trump's political id and intellectualizes it. And I think he and Stephen Miller, who I have a lot of time for, I think is a really impressive guy, they have their fingerprints all over that executive order, which was just written in haste. And, every administration has this tendency. You're swept into power. You feeling you're invincible. You need to do everything really quickly. You need to deliver on your promises. And oftentimes it's just better to slow down a little bit. And they probably would have been better suited to do that on this executive order. And I think they're kind of in a legal box canyon now out in the Ninth Circuit. And it'd be best to just rewrite the thing. They still have the whip hand. They have the unilateral power to redo it, and they can write it in a way that still achieves the ultimate end, which is stricter, so-called extreme vetting. At the same time, they don't create the vulnerabilities. And my fear is going down this current path, you're going to create some really bad law. I mean, the Ninth Circuit basically suggested that if you're a foreign alien residing overseas, you might have U.S. due process rights, basically because you know someone in the United States. And that's crazy. That's what the left has wanted on immigration for a very long time. And you don't want that to be cemented by a 4-4 Supreme Court ruling.
Well, and on this score, it's interesting, maybe the execution lacked a little bit of foresight, but certainly, again, Trump directionally correct, and maybe there's no more evidence of that than what Merkel is doing in Germany, where they've set aside some $76 million in taxpayer money to create a fund to pay migrants to withdraw their asylum applications and leave Germany voluntarily. Don't want to be heavy-handed, but want them out. They can't handle. They overestimated their ability to assimilate on the other side of lacking foresight in Germany, and now they're trying to figure a way out of it.
Yeah, it was just a disastrous decision she made to basically welcome 1 million migrants in 1 year, no questions asked. And in these European countries, because of the European equivalent of the European Union's equivalent of the Supreme Court, it's just very hard to deport anyone. And we're basically having a smaller scale version of that debate here in the United States, because you're now going to see every deportation contested and potentially protested. And what the left wants to do is just break the Trump administration on immigration enforcement and demonstrate that it's basically impossible to have enforcement, which is what they want. And there are going to be many cases that are quite sympathetic. So you look at this thing over the last week or so, this deportation of this woman who was here for 20 years, and in a lot of ways a very sympathetic case. Husband, children, they're all crying and distraught, understandably, that she's getting sent back to Mexico. On the other hand, she committed a crime on top of being here illegally, which was identity theft, and had a deportation order against her, which, as Stephen Miller pointed out yesterday on the shows, that doesn't happen by accident. That's extensively litigated within the immigration courts. So one side of this debate says we got to deport people, especially when you have deportations orders against them, and you have another side of the debate saying, no, that's inhumane, and basically we need to defy all these laws.
And the ICE agents that are rounding up hundreds of these people, that was ordered before President Trump even took office, correct?
Yeah, it's not clear that the ICE is really doing anything differently yet. But this is, what you want is to send a message that actually things are going differently, and they are much tougher and stricter. And then you get the people who are most loosely connected to this country to leave voluntarily. This is what Mitt Romney maladroitly called self-deportation. But it's a good thing that you don't have to hunt people down and deport them. They'll just go, and then fewer people will come. And the Democrats always say, well, illegal immigration, the problem's been taken care of. There's net zero migration from Mexico, which is true. But it's not net zero from a lot of Central American countries. So you want the message to be sent across the board, don't come here illegally, because you're going to get caught and you're going to get deported. And it's just very bad news. No one really wants to be deported. It's a very traumatic process for everyone involved. So just the fear that ICE is cracking down more may have an effect that helps us get a grip on this problem.
So what about the criticism of Trump that this kind of short attention span theater that he runs is unhelpful to getting these big things done, whether it's an immigration or Obamacare repeal or tax reform? They're running on parallel tracks. They're running perhaps at a pace dependent on the confirmations of people like Tom Price when it comes to Obamacare repeal and replace. Do you agree that it would be more helpful if he was more focused on the big things and less focused on Nordstrom's spring lines?
Yeah, but I do see them running in parallel tracks. There's nothing about any of Trump's tweets that have made it harder to repeal and replace Obamacare. It's just a legislative process, and we've sort of forgotten this because we haven't done any legislation in 6 years. It's always messy. It's always complicated. It always takes longer than you think. And the repeal and replace is very politically sensitive. And I think Republicans would be really foolish to disregard these sort of demonstrations you're seeing at the town halls. This is genuine grassroots anger. And I think the best way to address it is not by backing off on repeal, which would be a rank betrayal of everything Republicans have said for the last 8 years, but to focus more on replace and do them simultaneously. Because then if you're a Republican congressman, you can show up at these town halls and someone says you're going to take away my health care, and you can say, no, we're not. This is the new system that is going to ensure just as many people, but in a more rational way. Instead, I fear a lot of Republicans are just saying, these are mobs and they're being paid for, which is exactly what Democrats said in August 2009, when they would have been much better to take account of what was real grassroots anger. So anyway, that's a long way of saying I don't like the Nordstrom tweets, I don't like the so-called judge tweets, but I don't think it's stopping other big things from happening. I think those things, the wheels are moving on that. It just takes longer.
He is Rich Lowry, editor of National Review, nationalreview.com, Fox News contributor, author of the book Lincoln Unbound. Rich, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks so much. Really enjoyed it.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, a newspaper has to apologize after mistaking Alec Baldwin for Donald Trump. Oh, it happened. But first, here's your forecast for this Valentine's Day Eve. Sunshine, a high of 46 degrees. And tomorrow, on Valentine's Day, we're going to have some more brilliant sunshine. It will be breezy, though, and continued mild conditions, a high in the mid to upper 40s. Let's jump into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. I'm sure he's getting the place ready for Valentine's Day. Here's Jim Talamonte.
That's right. Bright red curtains, Amy. Good morning. On 53 northbound, the exit to Thorndale's blocked right now with a crash. In Lamont, there are closures in both directions on 83 between 107th and Archer after a collision there. Edens, 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. Kennedy, 49 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 36. The Ike, 46 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 34. Stevenson looking at 55 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 27 minutes. 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State jammed from around 83rd to 47th. There's a southbound crash. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
This is the year. It's time to sell or buy your home. The realtor you choose should have experience and success. Hi, I'm John Wright of the Wright Real Estate Group. We've sold 1,100 homes in 142 towns and municipalities in Chicagoland. Chances are you know someone who has sold or purchased a home from the Wright Real Estate Group of Keller Williams. Let our success be your success when buying or selling a home. The Wright Real Estate Group doesn't rely on celebrity endorsements to sell your home. We rely on results. When you're ready to buy or sell a home, call me, John Wright, at 630-407-1641 or log on to WrightRealEstateGroup.com. Sell or buy a home through the Wright Real Estate Group and we'll donate $500 at closing to Food for the Poor to feed 10 children in your honor. Call 630-407-1641. The Wright Real Estate Group of Keller Williams. Moving at the speed of right.
There's bound to be a good reason when a local startup company becomes an industry leader in only 5 years. Chicago Cut Concrete Cutting achieved this success by offering highly skilled professional services at highly competitive prices. Business owners, project managers, field supervisors, and procurement managers from many of Chicagoland's top companies depend on Chicago Cut Concrete Cutting. They specialize in industrial, heavy highway, and commercial projects requiring concrete cutting, core drilling, as well as wall, slab, chain, wire, and ring sawing. Chicago Cut Concrete Cutting will complete your project on time and on budget. Demolition and sealing services such as silicone and hot tar are also available. For an estimate or questions about your project needs, call Chicago Cut Concrete Cutting, the cutting edge in concrete cutting today at 773-282-2CUT. That's 773-282-2288. Or visit ChicagoCutConcreteCutting.com.
The new Trump administration could cause explosive moves in the financial markets, and savvy market speculators are rethinking their investment strategy. Are you ready to do the same? At Online Trading Academy, we believe that reaching your financial goals has little to do with who runs the White House and everything to do with who runs your house. That's why it's the best time to learn how to capitalize on opportunities in the financial markets by attending a free half-day class. Call 888-984-8723. That's 888-984-TRADE or visit tradingacademy.com to reserve your seat. You'll discover professional-grade strategies that can help you generate income, grow wealth, and ultimately achieve your why, the things you want most in life. When you register, you'll get the Wall Street Insiders Kit. Valuable investing insights, strategies, and videos absolutely free. Seats are limited, so don't delay. Call 888-984-8723. That's 888-984-TRADE to reserve your seat. That's 888-984-8723. 888-984-TRADE or visit tradingacademy.com.
As a parent, you want what's best for your children. That means sending them to a school where they'll get the superior education they deserve, and that also shares your values. That can be tricky these days, as public schools have changed and private schools can be expensive. Your household budget has already been cut to the bone, and it's hard to imagine where you'll find that extra money. Well, there's help to lessen that financial burden and provide your child with the very best education at half the cost. At AM 560 The Answer, we work with private schools throughout the Chicagoland area to provide tuition for families at half the normal cost. Just log on to halfpriceschools.com and you'll find some of Chicagoland's finest private schools, from preschool all the way through high school, at half the cost. And chances are there's a school right in your neighborhood. Invest in your child's education and future at halfpriceschools.com. A limited number of half-price vouchers are available. Go to halfpriceschools.com now.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chuck Spaveri, CEO of Spaveri's Custom Counters, a Chicagoland manufacturer of residential and commercial countertops. If there's a local commercial bank who knows how to get a deal done, it's Signature Bank. When my brother and I needed it, Signature Bank came through with a creative financing solution. That's because Signature Bank has experience working with companies like ours, a second-generation, family-owned and operated manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Spaveri's is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, Michael Hyder. Michael Hyder. Thank you for listening to AM 560, The Answer. Michael Hyder. Thanks for making Chicago's Morning Answer and AM 560 part of your day. What's his name, Dan?
Michael Hyder. Way to go, Michael. Coming up at 7:37, big trouble with a little North Korean dictator. We'll discuss it with David Drucker from the Washington Examiner.
And later, a United Airlines pilot scares her passengers. We'll play it for you. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. 28 degrees. An immediate threat of catastrophic flooding is beginning to ease after California officials managed to stop water from flowing over a crumbling emergency spillway from the nation's largest earthen dam near Oroville. Mark Geralducci was with the governor's office of emergency services in California and says Jerry Brown is taking measures he believes to ensure the public's safety.
We are doing everything we can in the effort to support Butte County and the local authorities to be able to address most of the displaced.
It's located about 150 miles northeast of San Francisco. If the dam is topped, it will impact Sacramento. About 200,000 people in communities below Oroville have been evacuated. Congressional Hispanic Caucus this morning saying they need an explanation. Recent raids on illegal immigrants. It sent a letter to the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Administration requesting guidance on how the Trump administration policies will differ from those of the Obama administration. The president, Donald Trump, meets with Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau at the White House today. Trump says he wants to renegotiate NAFTA with Canada and Mexico. An Illinois court is set to take up a motion filed by the state attorney general, Lisa Madigan, to halt state employees' paychecks until lawmakers solve the state's budget crisis. Illinois' newly elected state comptroller is blaming the state's budget crisis on the governor. Susana Mendoza met with the Southern Illinois and editorial board, saying Rauner is failing to uphold his most basic constitutional duty to prepare and submit to the General Assembly a balanced budget proposal. Cubs and Sox report for work in spring training in Arizona this week. 3 of the top 12 teams in the AP Top 25 men's college basketball poll lost on Sunday, and that includes 7th-ranked Wisconsin falling to the Northwestern Wildcats 66-59. Jordan Spieth cards a 2-under-70 in Sunday's final round to win the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Kelly Craft second, Dustin Johnson third. The news service of Staples. Filing your own taxes this year? Staples helps you be accountable with everything you need for tax season for less, with storage boxes and filing supplies to software like QuickBooks and TurboTax. And right now, get up to $15 off when you buy TurboTax. In-store only, ends 4/1/17. Make more happen. 7:32, we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Governor Greg Abbott is threatening any Texas city that becomes a sanctuary city. That if you don't reverse course and cease and desist your sanctuary city status, the state's going to cut you off. Man, that's the way to do it. It's my hope that Trump's going to do the same thing.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, check this out. Once again, MyPillow sweetened the deal. In addition to Mike Lindell's 4-pack special with 40% off 2 premium MyPillows plus those 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, you also get free shipping. In fact, you'll get free shipping off any order $100 or more. So remember, Mike Lindell invented MyPillow for everybody with pillow-related sleep issues. You can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need regardless of sleep position. You'll get into deep sleep faster and stay there longer. No waking up to a stiff neck or headache. They're made in the US of A and have a 10-year warranty. It's washable, it's dryable, and it has a 60-day money-back guarantee. Again, for a limited time, you'll receive Mike Lindell's 4-pack special of 40% off plus free shipping. So call 800-489-0201 and use the promo code Amy to receive this unreal deal. Now, if you've been putting off purchasing a MyPillow, well, it's time to finally start getting a great night's sleep. I know I do. Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201 and use the promo code Amy.
See the nation's largest auto show at McCormick Place now through the 20th. Log on to ChicagoAutoShow.com for details and download the Auto Show app.
Mike Rowe here. Today I'm with Frank, one of the heating and cooling pros at 1 Hour. Frank's got his head up a vent right now. How's it going up there? Frank knows what he's talking about. He's been with 1 Hour for how long, Frank? 14 years. That's a long time. Over that time, he's worked on tons of different equipment, taken countless hours of training, and that makes Frank the man.
No, Mark Rowe's the man.
I'm sorry, Frank. Say again?
Mike Rowe's the man.
I heard him the first time. For any heating need, call 855-1 Hour today. Say it again, Frank.
Mike Rowe's the man.
That's what I'm talking about. Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
When you get in your car, you program your destination into the GPS. You need the best directions to get to where you want to be. The same is true for retirement. You need a voice to guide you along the way. And in Chicago, that voice is Jack Taboda. Join Jack every Saturday morning at 7, right here on 560 The Answer. Jack's nearly 40 years of experience can help make your retirement journey feel like a drive down easy street. Take that first step. Tune in Saturday mornings at 7 for retirement planning with Jack Taboda of Taboda and Associates.
Hi, this is Shalom Klein of Get Down to Business, the show for small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship, powered by Tandem HR. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 1 out of every 5 adults over age 64 is still working. The number of Americans working past the traditional age of retirement has nearly doubled since the 1980s. While some attribute this statistic to healthier lifestyles and longevity, others simply cannot afford to retire. It's never too early to start planning for retirement. The best way to ensure financial security is to consult with a 401k or a financial advisor today. If you're a small or mid-sized business looking to offer an affordable retirement program to their employees, contact Tandem HR today. TandemHR.com. That's TandemHR.com.
For more tips, advice, and stories of entrepreneurial successes, listen to Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein. Heard Sunday afternoons at 6. Your Business Minute of the Day is powered by Tandem HR.
7:36. It's time to check the climate of your business with AirComfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. And time to check the roads. We do that in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Tri-State southbound is getting heavier now with delays from 21 to Will Plain. Northbound bottled up from the 83rd Street toll to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan tollway to North Avenue. Edens is 21 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound 26. The Kennedy now 49 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 36. The Eisenhower 50 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop outbound 37. Stevenson 58 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive outbound 38. Ryan 29 minutes. 95th to downtown. Traffic is a service of Westin Hotels and Resorts. Westin knows how disruptive travel can be to your well-being. With rejuvenating heavenly beds, a nutritious superfoods RX menu, and gear lending. When you leave your workout gear at home, Westin will help you stay in control and rise above it all. Westin, let's rise. Learn more at Westin.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, sunny and 46 today. A low of 30 overnight, 28 officially at O'Hare, 31 along the lakefront. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So we were talking with Rich Lowry earlier about some of the comments that Stephen Miller, who has been a behind-the-scenes policy advisor, speechwriter, on the Hill for not a long time, maybe 7 or 8 years, and now really part of the inner circle driving the policy agenda and the way the White House talks about its policy agenda, along with Steve Bannon, Reince Priebus, Miller making his really national debut doing all the Sunday talk shows, and Trump tweeting out that he thought Miller represented him very well.
So was Miller filling in for Kellyanne Conway because she got slapped on the wrist for promoting Ivanka Trump's fashion line?
I don't. Well, that's the running war between Kellyanne Conway and CNN. Not to get too into the weeds on these relatively parochial matters, and then there's a lot of question about how much confidence President Trump retains in Sean Spicer, his press secretary. So it was Steve Miller's turn at the wheel.
So how do you think Steve Miller did? I mean, he went to, he took George Stephanopoulos to task on this week's edition of voter fraud.
You just claimed again that there was illegal voting in New Hampshire, people busting from the state of Massachusetts. Do you have any evidence to back that up?
George, go to New Hampshire, talk to anybody who's worked in politics there for a long time. Everybody's aware of the problem in New Hampshire with respect to
I'm asking you as the White House senior hold on a second. I'm asking you as the White House senior policy advisor. The president made a statement saying he was the victim of voter fraud, people being bused from Massachusetts and New Hampshire.
The president was.
Do you have any evidence?
If this is an issue that interests you, then we can talk about it more in the future.
Yeah.
He held his own.
Yeah, I mean, Clinton Foundation donor zero came across as a little bit petulant. I do think, though, that when it comes to this voter fraud matter, making general references to voter fraud, everyone knows who knows kind of things is not persuasive. Just provide some of the data. I mean, my little group of newspapers in Illinois was able to scrape the Illinois data from the Illinois State Board of Elections. We identified 25,000 Illinoisans that are registered at least twice. And we also identified in the 2014 general election 68 Illinoisans who, according to State Board of Elections records, voted at least twice. So if we can do it here with our limited resources, certainly the president's team can do the same in states or regions or localities, for that matter, where they say there is a voter fraud problem. I guess this is the point of Pence heading up this forthcoming commission on the issue. But, I mean, just talking in generic terms about it sounds, it sounds like you don't have evidence to back it up. And if you're going to talk about it, have at least some data points to suggest there is something real here. Because I think there is something real here, but I don't think the way that Stephen Miller talked about it, the way that Trump has talked about it to this point, is particularly compelling. For more on this and other topics, we're pleased to be joined by David Drucker, senior Capitol Hill correspondent for the Washington Examiner. David, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good to be here.
So your impression of what Stephen Miller's appearance on all the Sunday talk shows as the White House spokesman, means in terms of the goings-on within the communication structure in the Trump White House?
Well, look, it's hard to say. I mean, they've only been in office a few weeks, and so they could be trying out different things. I think Stephen Miller is a good choice because he talks for the president. He speaks for the president so forcefully and without reservation. And what you want in a spokesman is somebody that represents the president's views and does so without hesitation. And so I know Stephen's getting a lot of flack for his style, and I can understand why there's criticism in some ways because, when you say that the president will not be questioned, and that's, one of the quotes he used in relationship to where they're going to end up on this executive order on immigration and refugees, it sounds a bit Orwellian. But a spokesman's job isn't to make nice to the press, and it's not to, tell people like me, as much as I wish they would, that, well, you got a good point there, and gee, maybe we should rethink things. And their job is to make the most forceful case possible for the president. And in that regard, I thought Stephen Miller accomplished that goal.
I was reading an article that you wrote last week about Trump tweeting and the concerns, that this might bring because he is the first president to use social media in a way that we've never seen before. Do you think there's any possibility that someone could get to him and reach him and tell him to lay down or lay off the tweeting for a while?
Well, I think it'd be a good idea. I don't think he's going to do it. And when I say I think it would be a good idea, what I mean is, although it's, at least they find it, he finds it very helpful in terms of communicating with his base. I think in terms of governing, where you're trying to sort of bring along a team of allies in Congress, and you've got cabinet secretaries that have to respond to you, and you've got potential foreign policy crises and all of that. I don't think that the off-the-cuff tweeting is helpful, and I think Trump could still be Trump without doing things like that. I think that it would actually broaden his base of support for other voters outside of his base that may like his policies. I mean, his policies have actually proven to be, some of them anyway, more popular than he is. And so I think he could expand his base of support among voters here and reassure allies around the world if he were to act in a way that was a little bit less disruptive. And so, in other words, disruptive policies aren't necessarily a bad thing. Disruptive behavior from a president, because a president can move markets and paint divisions, is not necessarily helpful.
He met with Japanese Prime Minister Abe over the weekend, played a little golf, had a little high five, all that jazz. But on Sunday, while they were meeting, that little dictator of North Korea there, Kim Jong-un, was able to conduct a ballistic missile test. So we got ballistic missile tests in Iran, we got ballistic missile tests in North Korea, the axis of evil countries, as they were termed once upon a time. Abe said that the launch was absolutely intolerable, demanded North Korea fully comply with UN resolutions banning such activity. I'm not sure how much weight that carries, and there's some suggestion that his conversation, Trump's, with Jinping of China may be helpful in quelling little Kim Jong-un in North Korea. But, these geopolitical matters with these countries present some interruptions at minimum to Trump's domestic policy agenda, don't they?
Yeah, they do. And look, this is what every president faces, is that the world intrudes on your agenda, your timeline, and how you think everything's going to go. And so I think this is what Trump is going to figure out real quickly. I mean, I think in one sense it was very interesting because after all of his talk on the campaign trail that all of our allies are taking us to the cleaners with the fact that we defend them, what we found is that in his press conference with Prime Minister Abe on Friday, he said he thanked the Japanese government for hosting our armed forces. I thought that was the most interesting and important comment of the entire weekend. And then after North Korea, did what it did, which is, keeping within character for them over the past 20 years or so, they immediately went on camera. He said that we were going to defend our ally. And so, to me, the only thing about that was he never mentioned South Korea, who is, basically Seoul is like a suburb of North Korea and would take the brunt of any North Korean aggression. So, curious to see what he says about that. But what you saw really from the golf course diplomacy and the treatment of the Prime Minister from Japan was pretty standard, Republican, Democratic diplomacy 101, and nothing out of the ordinary.
And that's a good thing.
Important. Yeah, and that was important. I thought that was important. It sent an important signal to our allies who've been nervous because of what Trump says. It sent an important signal to our adversaries because of what Trump says. And so, of course, we have to see now what follows from it because he can zigzag. But, I think for people that were worried that he was just going to completely close up shop and bring everything home and, depend on the two oceans to keep us safe, I think, so far that's not necessarily the case.
He is David Drucker, senior Capitol Hill correspondent for the Washington Examiner, WashingtonExaminer.com. David, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next, the United Airlines pilot scares passengers, some even deplaned because she scared them so much. We'll tell you why and what she did. But first, here's your forecast. Plenty of sunshine today, a high of 46 degrees tonight, a low of 30. And for Valentine's Day tomorrow, you're going to have the gift of sunshine. It'll be breezy, it'll be mild, a high in the mid to upper 40s. Let's jump now into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
If only it were sugar sweet right now. The expressways and tollways, but we got some problems. Northwest Indiana, the ramp from eastbound 94, State Road 49, still closed after a rollover truck and a Spilled load of steel coils there in Lamont southbound 83 is closed 107th through Archer with major crash. The Edens is 22 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose outbound 27. The Kennedy now looking at 50 minutes from O'Hare to downtown. Outbound it's 36. The Eisenhower 58 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop outbound 47. The Stevenson 58 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Just ticked up to an hour now. Outbound it's 36 minutes. The Ryan 29 minutes. 95th to downtown. You see delays on the northbound Veterans Memorial, the Mountain Toll to the Reagan Tollway. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And in my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
There's bound to be a good reason when a local startup company becomes an industry leader in only 5 years. Chicago Cut Concrete Cutting achieved this success by offering highly skilled professional services at highly competitive prices. Business owners, project managers, field supervisors, and procurement managers from many of Chicagoland's top companies depend on Chicago Cut Concrete Cutting. They specialize in industrial, heavy highway, and commercial projects requiring concrete cutting, core drilling, as well as wall, slab, chain, wire, and ring sawing. Chicago Cut Concrete Cutting will complete your project on time and on budget. Demolition and sealing services such as silicone and hot tar are also available. For an estimate or questions about your project needs, call Chicago Cut Concrete Cutting, the cutting edge in concrete cutting today at 773-282-2CUT. That's 773-282-2288. Or visit ChicagoCutConcreteCutting.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dun, dun.
That's exactly why we're doing this story for airplane drops. This story, United Airlines pilot.
Yeah. Well, okay.
What's the problem?
Oh, no. I thought I was rolling this out, but that's all right.
Please.
No, because it's a woman thing. I mean, sister friend couldn't keep it together. She was late for her flight. It was a United Airlines flight Saturday from Austin to San Francisco. She showed up late in civilian clothes. She kind of had the fatigues, like army green outfit on. And she went on a little bit of a rant.
I'll stop and we'll fly the airplane. Don't worry, I'm going to let my co-pilot fly it. He's a man. Okay? Okay, if you don't feel safe, get off the airplane, but otherwise we can go. Okay. This is all set up. Okay, come on up. All right, so I purposely offended you. Did I offend you? Okay, so did I purposely offend you? I did. The answer is yes.
So she was going to people in the front. Did I offend you? Did I offend you? But apparently she started talking about politics, about she didn't vote for Trump or Hillary Clinton because they're both a-holes.
Here's some passenger responses, both a female and a male. to what this pilot had to say and what she was doing.
She shows up dressed like a civilian and asked us to take a vote to see whether we should have her change into her uniform or fly as is.
That's a bad sign.
That's not good. It's not healthy, Dan.
And
she's not processing this divorce well.
There was more.
She was venting. She mentioned her divorce.
She started off by saying that she had not voted for either Trump or Clinton because they're a bunch of liars. Yeah, so that's an odd way to start off the welcome to your flight.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it just really sort of went downhill from there and didn't make a lot of sense to any of us.
So she was scared, and you could see people because they were somebody was taping it, of course, getting off the plane, and she touched him like, hey, you scared? You getting off the plane? I mean, she completely lost it. And the bottom line is
who doesn't like being taunted by their pilot?
She's going through a divorce right now, Dan, and she's not well. But just so you know, she's been relieved of her duties.
Yeah, somebody else flew that plane from Austin to San Francisco, you'll be happy to learn, and as the passengers were.
And guess what each passenger got? $50 voucher. They were delayed 2 hours. They had to wait for a new pilot, obviously. And this pilot was wearing his uniform, by the way.
Mm-hmm. We also had exclusive audio, some of the on-the-ground audio prior to her joining the passengers and crew members on the plane. This is how it started.
This is due to periodic...
It takes so many things to make love last. Most of all, it takes respect. And I can't live with the man I don't respect.
What up, sir?
Yeah, that was her husband responding to being dressed down by her. And then, of course, when she was in the cockpit.
This is due to periodic air pockets we encounter. There's no reason to become alarmed, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your flight. By the way, is there anyone on board who knows how to fly a plane?
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
If you save $500,000 in an IRA or 401k, you know it's not really $500,000, right? Because you still have to pay taxes on that money. But here's something that will shock you. Some people will pay through the nose in taxes when they withdraw money from their retirement accounts, while a smart and savvy few will legally pay far less. Could you potentially save thousands of dollars in taxes on your IRA or 401k and keep this money for yourself? Yes, you could. Learn how in a free report called 6 Ways to Tax-Free Income in Retirement from me, Tom Fortino, host of the Alpha Wealth Hour. The free report could save you tens of thousands of dollars. Call 630-873-6326. It's your choice. Pay the IRS or keep this money for yourself. Call 630-873-6326 or visit us on alphawealthgroup.com. That's alphawealthgroup.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
As a parent, you want what's best for your children. That means sending them to a school where they'll get the superior education they deserve, and that also shares your values. That can be tricky these days, as public schools have changed and private schools can be expensive. Your household budget has already been cut to the bone, and it's hard to imagine where you'll find that extra money. Well, there's help to lessen that financial burden and provide your child with the very best education at half the cost. At AM 560, The Answer, we work with private schools throughout the Chicagoland area to provide tuition for families at half the normal cost. Just log on to halfpriceschools.com and you'll find some of Chicagoland's finest private schools, from preschool all the way through high school, at half the cost. And chances are there's a school right in your neighborhood. Invest in your child's education and future at halfpriceschools.com. A limited number of half-price vouchers are available. Go to halfpriceschools.com now.
Are you stuck in a bad home mortgage? Well, join the club that has about 10 million other American families. But I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest legal analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses, we make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, I guarantee you'll never be alone in this country.
Check out the ammo event this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. All ammo will be on sale, including 9mm starting at $10.99. Save up to 30% on a great selection of brand name ammo this Friday through Monday. Point Blank Range and Gun Shop offers a state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, an extensive inventory of firearms, and a supportive, knowledgeable team. The ammo event is this weekend at Point Blank Range and Gun Shop. Visit shootpointblank.com for details. Some restrictions may apply.
Don't let yesterday's accomplishments affect today. Use Blue Emu, available in stores nationwide.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Journalist comes out conservative, and he joins us at 8:38 to explain why.
And 2 girls remain in critical condition this morning after 2 separate shootings, both shot in the head. We'll give you the latest. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, an Orland Park man accused of murdering his wife. Chicago rapper and musician wins some Grammys. Sunny day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. Engineers at First Light will assess the spillway at the Oroville Dam, which eroded, prompting officials in Northern California to urge 188,000 people to evacuate.
I panicked as I started putting things in my car.
But there is some less fear of flooding this morning.
The water went all the way up to the top over an auxiliary spillway, which is only supposed to work for a short time. For about 30 hours, water went over the top of that, down the earthen side of the dam, and it caused a problem towards the top that they thought was going to give way last night. They were able to drain some of the water down below that level where it was spilling over.
As Fox's Adam Housley downstream from the dam, the Senate is expected to confirm another cabinet nominee today. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the full Senate set to vote on the confirmation of Stephen Mnuchin for Treasury Secretary this evening. Republicans say Mnuchin's experience in finance qualifies him for the Treasury job, but Democrats say his experience at One West Bank during the mortgage meltdown is a mark against him. Republicans in committee unanimously voted in favor of Mnuchin after Democrats boycotted that vote. Dave.
Rachel, in a few hours, President Trump will welcome Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau at the White House, where Fox's John Decker's live.
The president has signaled his intention to renegotiate the North American Free Trade Agreement, saying that NAFTA is a bad trade deal for America. Border security and defense will also be discussed. The two leaders have differing views about immigration from predominantly Muslim nations. And President Trump is likely to press his Canadian counterpart to contribute more to NATO, arguing that Canada is not paying its fair share to the defense alliance. Dave?
John Bo Bergdahl's lawyers go before a military judge today to argue the soldier captured by the Taliban cannot get a fair trial on desertion and other charges because of what President Trump said while a candidate.
We get a traitor named Bergdahl, a dirty, rotten traitor.
The prosecutors dismissed that as campaign rhetoric. Bergdahl was freed in a controversial prisoner swap. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Sunshine, 28 degrees, 8:02 is our time on AM 560. The Answer, good morning. I'm Mike Scott. An Illinois court set to take up a motion filed by the state attorney general, Lisa Madigan, to halt state employee paychecks until lawmakers solve the state's budget impasse. Meantime, in Springfield, legislators are simultaneously considering a threat by Governor Bruce Rauner to veto one of the two proposals to keep the payments going. 2 young girls are fighting for their lives following separate shootings Saturday night on Chicago's South Side. A 12-year-old shot in the head playing basketball. One of that victim's relatives pleading for help yesterday, finding the shooters.
11 and 12. Come on now. Whoever did this, they should turn themselves in.
Around 30 minutes later, an 11-year-old was shot in the head sitting in a parked car near 65th and South King Drive. Investigators tell us both girls were not the intended targets. An Orland Park man is charged with the murder of his wife. Raymond Homolka appeared in court yesterday, ordered held without bond. Police say he shot and killed his wife, Mary, who was found dead Friday at their home. Prosecutors claim the husband tried hiding the victim's body in their garage, telling relatives his wife was on vacation in Las Vegas. Authorities investigating a head-on crash between an ATV and a dirt bike that killed 2 men in DeKalb County near the town of Kirkland. Cubs and Sox report for spring training in Arizona this week. 3 of the top 12 in the AP Top 25 men's basketball poll lost on Sunday, including the 7th-ranked Wisconsin Badgers, dropping a big one to Northwestern, 66-59. The news service of Unbound. Around the world, there are young people who face a difficult decision. Continue the dream of education or drop out to help support their families. In a single moment, you can help them write a news story at unbound.org. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Pat O'Neill.
From the Fox Business Network, Wall Street will try to keep the ball rolling today. The top indexes registered a third straight weekly gain last week, booking record highs, with the Dow advancing 97 points on Friday. Investors largely focused on President Trump's pledge to move quickly to change the tax code to bolster corporate earnings. Good news at the gas pump, prices have fallen recently.
Gasoline prices dropped a nickel in the past 3 weeks, and the new average for a regular grade is $2.31.
Oil analyst Trilby Lumberg, drivers in Los Angeles are paying the highest prices, $2.87 a gallon for regular. Cleveland drivers the lowest, just $1.97 a gallon. Want a home on the cheap? Kansas City, Missouri is putting about 50 damaged abandoned homes on the market for $999 each. Buyers have 4 months to address code issues and 1 year to get everything in ship shape. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Pat O'Neill.
8:05 in Chicago. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
Hiring is the most challenging part of my job.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. One click and my job was posted to 200 plus job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 200 plus job sites. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio offer.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a smooth, clean shave. But you're tired of paying $32 for new blades. Stop messing around with those generic razors and start shaving with Harry's for half the price. Harry's is so confident in the quality of their blades, they'll send you their most popular shave set, shaving cream, and post-shave balm for free when you cover shipping, a total value of $20. Just go to harrys.com now and enter code 0808 at checkout to redeem your shave set. That's harrys.com, code 0808.
8:06. Let's get an update on your ride to work. You do that in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. And here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Kennedy, delays start at Foster, 37 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 24 from Montrose, 23 on the Express. Outbound 18 minutes to Montrose, 36 to O'Hare. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 29. The Eisenhower's now an hour and 2 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, 43 minutes from Manheim, outbound 48 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37 minutes. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound delays are from 21 to Eau Plaine, then there's a crash past Irving Park in the left lane. Northbound slow, 95th to the Mile Long Bridge, from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, and Irving Park to the Toohey Toll Plaza. The northbound Veterans Memorial traffic is slow from Fountain Toll to the Reagan Tollway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Latest on our sunshine with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today sunny, high 46. Tonight clear to partly cloudy, low 30. Sunny and breezy tomorrow with a high 46. Partly cloudy at night, low 26. Clouds and sun Wednesday, high 35. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
29 degrees. Next news, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, the show for business and jobs powered by Tandem HR. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
Good morning. Welcome to your Monday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
Donald Trump is such a vain, narcissistic dude. Like, this is the best that he deserves, is to look at my butt.
Nobody has really said it, but his name is Rahm Emanuel. And this mayor that we have in the city of Chicago does not care about black people. And I'm going to put that on the record.
I've actually, having worked before on a campaign in New Hampshire, I can tell you that this issue of busing voters into New Hampshire is widely known by anyone who's worked in New Hampshire politics. It's very real. It's very serious.
First of all, I'd just like to announce that I'm calm now. And I will remain calm as long as you sons of... I'm not going to do that because that's the old spicy. And this is the new spicy.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So Saturday Night Live had heap big fun with the Trump administration again on Saturday night. But one piece of the Melissa McCarthy, Sean Spicer sketch that I thought fell a little flat, even though I enjoy it and I, can laugh at erstwhile allies. Yeah. But this piece about, this is parroting the Trump administration misstating Chicago crime stats.
As you know, we do need someone who's going to bring back law and order, because places like Chicago, the murder rate is over 80%. 80% of the people in Chicago have been murdered and are dead. And that's on you. You did that.
Yeah, okay. You know what? I'm looking at the real numbers here, and they directly contradict everything that you...
Yeah, and she put a leaf blower on the reporter. But yeah, no, when I heard this coming down, I thought, how insensitive and cruel, because a few hours earlier, 2 girls in 2 separate shootings were both shot in the head. An 11-year-old girl and a 12-year-old girl.
Right. One, the 11-year-old, 68500 block of South King Drive, Parkway Gardens neighborhood. I was about 20 blocks north of there at a dinner with black Republicans, actually on the south side, Saturday night when this shooting happened. So it's not just those 2 tragic shootings, 2 pre-adolescent girls caught in the crossfire.
Yeah, well, we should point out Takia Holmes, she was in a car, a blue minivan with her mother who had just gotten off work at the cleaners. She was sitting in the car with her brother, not the intended target, when the shot rang out, went through the car and struck her in the back of the head.
Yeah, but what's the sarcasm? The sarcasm is, Trump overstated the crime problem in Chicago. Is that right?
I thought he overstated the crime, the national statistics, not the statistics in Chicago, but they used it. What's wrong?
Is Trump overstating, misstating crime stats, whether it's nationally or Chicago? Mm-hmm. Is that are they being hysterical? Is that the fodder for parody? 800 murders last year and 3,500 shootings. Those are 25-year highs here, even as violent crime is declining nationally. And I know all the rationalizations and manipulations that are coming from the 5th floor, Tiny Dancer and the 50 trained SEALs on the city council. But that this is a few neighborhoods. Well, if it's just a few neighborhoods, then it should be easy to solve. We have 12,000 police officers. Why can't this be solved? This has been going on for years, for most of the 6 years of his reign. And then, if you look per capita, we're not even in the top 30 per capita violent crime capitals. I think East St. Louis is number 1 on that score, another Illinois community. But it doesn't explain why what's happening in Chicago isn't happening in New York and L.A. And, by the way, forget the comparisons. The raw numbers, 800 murders and 3,500 shootings last year. And in January, we're on pace to beat that.
Yeah, over the weekend we had 5 killed, 22 shot, including these 2 girls. They're not even teenagers. My God. And they're in critical condition. And the second person who was shot, real quick, Canaria Bowers, 12 years old. She was playing at her elementary school playground at 7:15 at night, and she was shot. And her mom said, they're still praying, hoping for a miracle.
She's fighting. She's really fighting. Her heart stopped 3 times from 6 this morning, and it's just we waiting. Can't do nothing but pray.
And in both cases, not the intended targets, and they're still looking for the gunman. But I wanted to quickly share with you, Canaria's uncle said something very poignant and something you don't hear very often.
Y'all fighting over squads and cliques, gangs. Give it up, man. Go up there and fight Congress for them laws that we need. So quick to pick up a gun, pick up a pencil, pick up a book. Talk it out.
And they're hoping this morning that...
You don't hear that? That's all you hear. Take it to the alley, Rom. Another vigil, more T-shirts, more demagoguery from Father Flagger. That's all you hear. I mean, I'm sorry, obviously, for his relative, this little girl, both little girls that were shot, but I don't hear anything serious coming from these quarters. Certainly not the political ones, and not the media either. The Sun-Times story today is 71% of Chicago police stops are of African Americans. Okay. And 80% of the deaths are African Americans, the murder victims. 80% of the perpetrators are African Americans. I'm sorry that's the case, but those are the frackin' numbers. And so what? Sun-Times, part of the problem. Rationalizing barbarism, rationalizing the deaths of others. I mean, don't listen to me. MSNBC had this, town hall, Chicago in the crosshairs. On Friday night. Listen to what one of those who spoke, you heard it at the top, one of those who spoke about Chicago, he lives there, had to say to, I don't know if this is Rachel Maddow or one of the other dudes there, but hosting the town hall.
Only dare to react. You have to put money into prevention. And right now, nobody has really said it, but his name is Rahm Emanuel. And this mayor that we have in the city of Chicago does not care about black people. And I'm going to put that on the record. When you can invest $100 million into DePaul basketball arena when they can practice at the United Center for free, and $16.4 million into Uptown to build upscale apartments, when you can build these new bus stops we got now downtown, but walk in our neighborhoods and not a million is coming. When we walking past boarded up schools, boarded up houses, they knock it down with red X's with no plan to redevelop. Mental health facilities shut down. The unemployment rate is the highest in Chicago than it is around the country. When you want to talk about violence, you got to talk about the economics, not police.
He should run for mayor. What's that cat's name? He is good. I mean, he laid it on the line there.
Yeah, he's mostly right. I mean, money, especially quote-unquote public sector investment, is not going to remedy this problem, certainly not in the short term. By the way, subsidizing a Whole Foods to go into Inglewood, that's not going to remedy the problem either, as we've seen play out. But he is directionally correct about Tiny Dancer and the political class in this city, all Democrats for 100 years, and the political class that lords over the Chicago public school system, all Democrats, 100 years. And what's happened into those neighborhoods, which, by the way, you want to talk about investment, the neighborhoods where you have the preponderance of the violent crime are all wholly owned subsidiaries of the government. Most of the individuals in those neighborhoods who have not left are wholly owned subsidiaries of the federal and state government. In other words, they get their shelter, they get their food, they get their education from the government. Government has taken over their lives and turn them into indentured servants who live in war zones. That's what's happened. Now that we know what's happened, now we can talk about how to undo the policy choices that have been made since the Great Society. Because if you don't want to talk about that, if you want to talk about inanimate objects or throwing money at a problem, then you're offering the same rap that we've heard from the same people, the men and women of always in Chicago for the better part of a half century. So I guess, it's up to, I don't know, families in those neighborhoods to decide if they will demand better than Tiny Dancer. Because they didn't in 2011, and they didn't in 2015, and, who knows what's going to happen in 2019 as Tiny Dancer spends 4 years not concerned about their safety, but his political viability. Mike in Park Ridge, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, I'm happy to hear that y'all are willing to talk about solutions after this just continues. And I think we all need to be willing to acknowledge that we are losing and we have lost this 3-decade-long war on drugs. You may not know that the country of Portugal 20 years ago legalized all drugs, and their death rate is 0.
They have nobody dies in Portugal. Thanks for the call, Mike. Got it.
Do you think those stats are a little skewed?
I'm not. I mean, I don't want to get. We can do the drug legalization argument another day. I'm just not in the mood for it, to be honest with you today. Sean in Elmwood Park.
If you are going to live forever, do you want to be stuck in Portugal? But anyway, listen, you don't want that guy to run for anything because all he wants is more money controlled by politicians. That's all he's advocating, the same fork in the outlet, investment, the same nonsense. What you want is welfare reform because you pay people to live poorly. You pay them to be derelicts. They are going to do it in spades, and that's what's happening. Allow these people to work and wean them off free money because the worse their life is, the more money they get. Need money? Have another kid. So when you have a system that does that, you will get this kind of calamity. And the reason nobody cares is because it's centralized in an area most people don't even go through. So that's what it is happening. The answer is to allow them the dignity of life through improving themselves instead of paying them to be derelicts.
Thanks for the call, Sean. Governor Ronner has apparently taken my advice from about 8 or 9 months ago.
Finally, really?
Finally. He, according to Sneedly, seen canoodling.
I love when you say canoodling.
In his Wednesday budget address, the governor is going to propose funding for 2 Illinois State Police classes for 200 cadets over the next 2 years to help deal with the violence spilling from the streets of Chicago onto the expressways. He already has provided 335 state troopers to Chicago expressway region. I had suggested, everybody calling the National Guard. I'm going to start with state police, not just the expressways, but maybe to use them. They're not perhaps trained to be beat cops in these neighborhoods, but use them to backfill some of the other duties that street cops in Chicago have with respect to administrative duties, paperwork, other things like that. Let's have some state police support for Chicago so that the governor can demonstrate that Tiny Dancer, his wine club buddy, may not care about black families on the south and west side, but Governor Ronner does, and I'm happy to hear he's moving in that direction. I'll look forward to his budget address on Wednesday where he addresses that topic if Sneed is correct. Dan on the north side.
Yes, echoing what Sean had said, when are they going to acknowledge that the progressive liberal policies of the last 50 years have decimated the African-American family? It takes a family to raise a village and not a village to raise a child. That's the basis. You have to start from the ground up, change it culturally, and start rebuilding families within the community.
That's right. Thanks for the call, Dan. Yeah, it turns out mom and dad matter. Who would have thunk it? John in Peatone.
Hello.
Hey, John.
Hi. It's a shame Bill Cosby got caught up in the baloney he did, but he did have the right message, just like your last caller, for the black community. You need to put the fathers back in the homes. Currently, these women don't have to claim who the father is to get their aid. Perhaps that needs to be put in place. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, thanks for the call, John. Yeah, holding men responsible. Yeah, that's a good start.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine for everyone today, a high of 46 degrees. And then tomorrow for Valentine's Day, plenty of sunshine, the gift of the sun. It will be breezy, though, and still mild. Average high this time of year, 35. We're going to hit 46 tomorrow as well. Now let's go into the alarm detection systems, the heart of the traffic center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. Tri-State southbound slow from the Adams Tollway I-90 to past Irving Park after a crash. In northbound, it's heavy from the Stevenson to 31st and Reagan Tollway up to the Toohey Toll Plaza. Veterans Memorial still heavy northbound, 75th to the Reagan Tollway at Army Trail to 290. Edens is 20 minutes, like Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. Kennedy, 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 42. The Eisenhower, 58 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 46. Stevenson, an hour and 3 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37 minutes. And the Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
I'm worried that my employees are costing me a fortune every month in damaged or missing inventory. I'm not sure how to solve this problem or who to turn to.
Alarm Detection Systems installs video cameras that watch over your place of business, reduce loss, and increase profits with advanced security. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
I can't get the alarm company on the phone to save my life. My alarm's going off all the time, and I don't know why. It's driving me crazy.
Call Alarm Detection Systems. We have live reps answering our phones 24/7, 365. No auto attendant. Call 630-844-6300. Get better customer service in return. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com. Alarm license number 127000143.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And like after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers. If you owe the IRS or state back taxes and cannot afford to pay them back, there's good news. Due to the financial hardship many are facing in today's economy, the IRS has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative. Qualifying for this program will resolve your tax problem, end all collections, and possibly reduce your back taxes by up to 90%. If you are facing wage garnishments, liens, bank levies, audits, or payroll taxes, it's not too late. Your circumstances may qualify you for this special program, protecting your savings and your assets. If you owe the IRS or state back taxes and cannot afford to pay them back, there's no need to worry anymore. Call the hotline at Victory Tax Solutions to see if you qualify and potentially save thousands. For this free information, call 800-222-1963. 800-222-1963. That's 800-222-1963.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, speaking of Governor Rauner, he tweeted, or he didn't tweet, Tina Fondellis, who's a reporter for the Sun-Times, tweeted that Rauner was asked whether he has any Illinois political mentors. He said he's gotten good advice from Mayor Deli.
Oh, no.
Here's a tip for the governor. As with the state police play to increase state police and state police support for Chicago police, why don't you just listen to me on this show and not listen to Mayor Daley and the other people who've gotten us into all of these problems that you're trying to advance structural reforms to address? Just a suggestion. Hi, boy. He's gotten good advice from Mayor Daley.
I thought he was going to say he's gotten good advice from Dan Proft, but clearly that took a left turn, a hard left turn.
He'll never say that. He thinks he has to impersonate a Democrat to win re-election, and if he continues to think that, we're going to be introduced to Governor Chris Kennedy after the 2018 election. So we'll see how that plays out. Do want to offer a congratulatory note on high school basketball, which is still, Chicago region, still the best for high school basketball, in my opinion. And Gene Pignatore over at St. Joe's, 1,000th win over the weekend.
And guess what else is going to happen that's monumental this evening? UConn Lady Huskies are going to win their 100th game straight tonight. Because I know how much you love women's basketball. And your love boils over to the WNBA as well.
Isaiah Thomas over at St. Joe's, among the illustrious graduates. And then, of course, William Gates and Arthur Agee that were featured in
Hoop Dreams.
Arthur Agee didn't play at St. Joe's, but William Gates did. And Pignatore was in Hoop Dreams as a result. So congratulations to Coach Pignatore. Keep it up over there at St. Joe's, even though you can no longer beat Bennett.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Lately, it seems you're not feeling quite right. As if your body is working against you. Dr. Amy and Associates can help create a path to achieve optimal health. Experience personalized health care for your mind, body, and spirit at a practice that blends holistic and traditional medicine.
Dr. Amy has really helped me. After experiencing a divorce in my 50s, I wasn't sure how to handle the stress and changes I was about to encounter. I needed to find a new profession since my ex-husband and I had worked together at our own company, plus there were other challenges with our own grown kids, family, and friends. It was wonderful to have Dr. Amy's guidance through this difficult situation. She kept me on track and assured me I was thinking correctly. She made a very hard time easier, and I will forever be grateful. If you're going through some hard life struggles, I would highly recommend Dr. Amy and Associates.
Call Dr. Amy and Associates to experience a whole-person integrative approach to health and wellness. 630-980-1400 or visit dramyandassociates.com. Dr. Amy and Associates, empowering people, changing lives.
There are two kinds of pain that goes away and the worst kind, chronic pain. If you suffer from chronic pain, life is not complete and it can be miserable. Unfortunately, most people use narcotics that mask the pain. You need to find the source of the chronic pain and get relief.
This is Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in the management of pain, and our team are national leaders as well as being educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. You know, there's a nationwide narcotics epidemic, and people are too quick to mask over chronic pain instead of looking for the cause and treating or eliminating the pain. Contact us. We will help you.
Go to mypainchicago.com. Call and make an appointment with some of the best pain people in the nation, located here in Chicago. mypainchicago.com. You or someone you know suffers in the suffering of chronic pain. mypainchicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
AM 560. The Answer.
Mike Scott tells us Carmel, Indiana girls swim team, high school, 31 state titles in a row. State titles in a row. Not 31 wins in a row.
Yeah, state titles.
31 state titles. What do they have in the water in Carmel, Indiana?
A lot of chlorine.
Is that where East Germans resettled after the wall fell?
No.
There's no doping going on there. That's all
I don't think so.
Gracious. Okay.
You can say they rise to the surface. Oh, my gosh. I'm so cheesy. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Chadwick Moore, he is a East Coast journalist who is coming out conservative. He'll explain why at 8:38.
And highlights of the moonin'. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
It is sunny right now, 29 degrees, and the White House weighing its options, it says, as it considers how to fight a suspension on the president's travel restrictions. The president has said he might rewrite that executive order, a move that could come as soon as today. Officials in Northern California have stopped the flow of water over a crumbling emergency spillway from the Oroville Dam. It's not clear right now if the almost 200,000 evacuated from their homes will be able to return anytime soon. Despite complaints from Democrats, the Senate expected to confirm Steve Mnuchin as President Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary this evening. Rescue workers in France are on the scene of an avalanche. 4 have been killed so far in the French Alps. 5 have survived. There are others missing near Albertville. No Valentine's Day this year in Islamabad, Pakistan. judge has banned the lovers' holiday. An official says the order has been sent to Pakistan's media regulator to ensure a Valentine's Day blackout. An Illinois court will take up the motion filed by the state attorney general, Lisa Madigan, to halt state employee paychecks until lawmakers solve Illinois' budget impasse. 2 young girls fighting for their lives following separate shootings over the weekend on Chicago's South Side, and an Orland Park man is charged with the murder of his wife. Raymond Homolka appeared in court yesterday and was ordered held without bond. Cubs and Sox reporting for spring training in Arizona. Northwestern's Wildcats take down number 7 Wisconsin in Madison, 66-59. The news, a service of Unbound. Around the world, there are young people who face a difficult decision: continue their dream of education or drop out to help support their families. In a single moment, you can help them write a news story. See Potential, Not Poverty at unbound.org. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher tells the left to keep quiet.
We keep hearing about what we are. This is not who we are. This is not who we are. That's become the left's mantra all of a sudden. I love them telling us who we are. You know who we are? We're a country that elected the person you didn't want to win. Who we are is not who you wanted us to be.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
See the nation's largest auto show at McCormick Place now through the 20th. Log on to ChicagoAutoShow.com for details and download the Auto Show app.
They're here, circling over your head, and they're tracking you down. You feel overwhelmed, like you can't escape. You need a solution to get your back taxes filed, to put your life back on track. You need someone who can keep the vultures at bay and work directly with the IRS to leverage every opportunity to settle your tax debt. Mary Karpowitz, CEO of Comprehensive Tax Solutions, is licensed to represent you before the IRS. Don't let the IRS threaten you. You should never need to speak to them directly. Mary does that for you. Comprehensive Tax Solutions will help you settle your entire IRS tax debt for up to 85% off the original amount owed, including penalties and interest if you qualify. Comprehensive Tax Solutions, family owned in Chicagoland, can be a lifesaver for you. Call 708-478-6770, 708-478-6770, or go to resolveyourtaxproblems.com. Call 708-478-6770 now.
8:35. Let's get a check of the roads in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens Expressway has cleared up inbound. It's 19 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 26. Kennedy, inbound delays start at Montrose, 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. A little quicker in the locals. Outbound, it's 32 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 2 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 45 minutes from Manheim. Outbound, it's 43 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 3 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37 minutes. The Ryan is 29 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, stop and go Montrose to North Avenue. Tri-State southbound slow from the Adams Tollway to past Irving Park after a crash. Northbound heavy from the Stevenson to 31st. The Reagan Tollway to the Irving Park, past the Irving Park area to the Toohey Toll Plaza. The Veterans Memorial, slow northbound 75th to the Reagan Tollway and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Sunny and 46 today. Clear to partly cloudy and 30 overnight. 46 tomorrow. Currently 29. Next news at 9. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, this is an interesting story. It's the story of Chadwick Moore, who is a journalist, contributor to Out, The Advocate, Playboy, New York Times, New York Post. This piece I'm reading from the New York Post, where Chadwick Moore recounts to Michael Kaplan tells a story. If you dare question liberal stances or make an effort toward understanding why conservatives think the way they are, think the way they do, you are a traitor. It can seem like liberals are against free speech if it fails to conform with the way they think, and I don't want to be a part of that club anymore. I finally had to admit to myself that I am closer to the right than where the left is today, and yes, just 3 months ago, I voted for Hillary Clinton. Chadwick Moore, the headline, I'm a gay New Yorker, and I'm coming out as a conservative. What triggered that epiphany? We asked Chadwick Moore, who joins us now. Chadwick, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
So what was the precipitating events that led to this piece in the New York Post and your conversion?
For a long time, I've been one of those moderate liberals who sort of kept my mouth shut, and when I disagreed with what was going on with my party and my peers. But, you always have just sort of believed that if you are, any, gay New York atheist, educated person, you have no choice but to vote Democratic. And, of course, this election season was just awful for many people and lots of emotions. But what did trigger it and what I described in that story to Michael Kaplan was this summer I was sent to London to profile Milo Yiannopoulos, who is the Breitbart tech editor, for Out Magazine, which is the nation's largest LGBT magazine. And when the story ran, I really, like, every time I write about anyone or anything, I do make an effort to be very impartial, try to see both sides of things, tell a story. And when I do a profile of someone, I really want to get to what motivates them. I want to get to their humanity. And this is what I really tried to do with Milo. And when that story ran, I knew it would be controversial. I knew that it would get a lot of attention. What I didn't anticipate is that attention would all be negative and directed at me and the magazine. And so when it ran, I was getting death threats. I had like maybe 200 followers on Twitter. I was never on at the time. And suddenly all these people coming at me, doxing me, calling me a Nazi because I did this. There's this petition that went around online, signed by like over 60, members of the gay media, condemning the story, condemning me. Friends turned against me. It was awful. I'd go out into places where I hang out, where I've known people for years, and they wouldn't talk to me. And that was really the event that I thought, wait a minute, like, what is going on here? These people lost their minds. Plenty of people said, I didn't even read the story, but I'm going to condemn this. I'm going to, how dare you write about this person? And that's really what set it in motion. What sort of followed through is I thought for sure after Trump's victory that the left would kind of, sit down and have a word with itself and figure out what they need to do to win hearts and minds, how they got this wrong. And that hasn't happened. They've doubled down and become even crazier than ever, and more hateful than ever to anyone who doesn't agree with them and anyone who dares to say, let's listen to the other side. What's going on here? How did you get this wrong? Why there's so much hatred? So I don't want to be a part of that anymore, I just can't. And I don't want to keep quiet about it because I think that's dangerous.
Has time softened your relationship with these people who've taken a stance against you and that you're a conservative now?
Has time softened? Say that again, I'm sorry?
No, have they changed their opinions at all? Or are they still mad at you for coming out as a conservative?
Oh, yeah,
and
that'll
treating
help.
you differently?
You know what? I've been getting so much, since that story ran, I've been getting so much love from people on the right, from all these strangers, thousands and thousands of messages of support. That any hate that's out there, I've not even seen it. It's like one hateful message to every 500 messages of support. So I've not even. I know it's out there. I've had friends and ex-boyfriends message me like, people are calling me and texting me and like asking what's going on with you, and I'm like, that's insane. So that's exactly why.
Yeah, the "Are you okay?" questions. Yeah.
Well, the other thing that's going on with respect to the left, as you were describing, a lot losing their minds, they're also becoming a bit more voyeuristic, as we saw from the Women's Pea Hat March, and then in Chicago over the weekend, the moon under Trump Tower, a few hundred people dropping their drawers to protest Trump. As someone who was of the left until recently, how do you view like those, what I would call kind of temper tantrums, as particularly productive for that worldview?
Oh, absolutely not. They're only driving themselves further into a corner. And I used to be someone who would love, I still do love outrageous things and provocative things and what have you, but this is just stupid, and they don't even know what they're protesting. And it just further alienates them. And the fact that it's so cheered on, like, let's win hearts by dressing up like a giant vagina and marching around because we don't know why we're mad. We just are, Like,
sounds like Amy's friend circle.
Chadwick, I've gone through a similar situation with my girlfriends, and what you have to do is you have to find new friends. So I have on eBay, I'm looking for new friends, and no, seriously, you just have to start over. I mean, at my age, I'm a little bit older than you, a lot of bit older than you, and you just have to find new friends.
You'll find new friends at the home. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you like Jell-O too?
So the interesting thing you said at the outset of telling your story, Chadwick, is that as a journalist, you're trying to figure out, what makes Milo Yiannopoulos tick. Where's he coming from? And it reminds me of this exchange that Michael Wolff, the columnist for The Hollywood Reporter, had with Brian Stelter on CNN last weekend, where he basically said, and he said to Brian Stelter, you come across a little bit ridiculous with these Jeremiads against Trump all the time. The media's not supposed to be the story. And what I'm doing at The Hollywood Reporter, when I do a profile piece like on Kellyanne Conway and receive such invective back for even, deigning to talk to Kellyanne Conway, these are the individuals in power. As journalists, we're supposed to ask questions. We're supposed to find out who they are, what they want to do, why they want to do it. And that includes provocative figures like Milo Yiannopoulos that have an impact on culture, as you saw at Berkeley recently. And so the intolerance of even pursuing answers to questions that journalists always ask and should ask about people that are influential, that's the thing that's really interesting to me.
Absolutely. And I saw that interview, and I was just cheering him on all the way. And that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. And it's so funny because so much the mainstream media got everything wrong this election, and they have not learned their lesson. It's mind-boggling.
And so now, how are you? You kind of alluded to it, but how are you getting along with some of your newfound brothers in arms, as it were?
The messages I've been getting have been amazing. All these personal stories and from conservatives are such a diverse group of people that you would never know about. If you just pay attention to most in the media, just all walks of life, all different viewpoints, and all of them have just been welcome. Love your friends. So many people like, let's get a drink. So many gay conservatives in New York that I never knew out there, and they're all pretty good-looking guys. And we're like, like, you're not alone. We're all out here. It's been incredible. And I mean, I know that I'm going to have to kind of watch my back especially in my hyper-liberal neighborhood. But, I think this is more important to come out against these things.
Be sure they don't loosen the lug nuts on your tires.
Yeah,
right. Hey, you're from Iowa. Your dad's a farmer. How did your family react?
My dad couldn't be more proud, and it's brought us a lot closer. He's a lifelong conservative. My mother lives in Tennessee. Her family are all Democrats, but they're sensible Democrats. They're not crazy. And she says, I love you and support you. And, you're always stirring things up. So I knew this was probably coming. But yeah, they've been great. They've always been great with everything.
And what's the perspective? Give us some insight, the perspective of your former circle of friends and associates on the left. And in terms of their unwillingness to do what you did, which is to, be intellectually curious, have an open mind, is it just that they think conservatives are inherently evil and thus no engagement or pursuit of inquiry is required?
But that's exactly right. Because I don't want to start demonizing people who I know and love, and good people who now think I'm a monster. Because I truly believe, and it blows my mind, but I truly believe that they think that conservatives are monsters and racists and don't care about black people and don't care about any other, minority group or women. And I don't understand. And I think it's because they're so ingrained in their bubbles. They believe everything they see on social media. I mean, social media, especially Facebook, is so to blame for this because as we all know, they've remade their algorithm so you only get news and posts that you agree with based on this and that and the other. And I do think they actually believe it. And it's sad that I think so many people are not taught to think critically these days, and so many people are just looking to be motivated by passion and not by reason. And this, of course, if you believe that suddenly Nazis are in power, well, that's something to be very passionate about. That's something you can go after. You don't have to think about it. You can just act with your emotions. And it's so incredibly dangerous and also very sad.
Yeah.
I think that they're good people who genuinely the goals that what they're fighting, they believe their interests are genuinely good. They believe in equality for all people, and they don't want to see the little guy getting trampled on. But they don't realize how toxic and weird and misguided and uninformed the whole arguments become. And therefore, they need an enemy, and it's, 65 million people who voted for Trump or whatever.
He is Chadwick Moore, contributor to Out, The Advocate, Playboy, The New York Times, The New York Post. And I would suggest you read this piece I was referencing in the New York Post. I'm a gay New Yorker, and I'm coming out conservative. Chadwick Moore, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us in more ways than one. Thank you, Chadwick. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Happy to be on board. Thanks.
Eddie joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Moon. Rumps
How
against
he said how
Trumps.
attractive conservative
Yeah.
men are.
Conservative men are hot.
Thank you.
Okay, here's your forecast. It's going to be hot. Well, warmer for this time of year. The average high is 35 degrees. We're going to hit 46 degrees with plenty of sunshine on this Valentine's Day Eve. And tomorrow for Valentine's Day, plenty of sun, breezy, mild. Again, temperatures in the mid to upper 40s. Let's get into our alarm detection systems. Traffic Center. Here's Jim Delamonte.
Thank you, Amy and Dan. Good morning. On the eastbound side of 94, northwest Indiana, the exit ramp to State Road 49 is still closed. Early this morning, a truck crashed there and dumped some steel coils, which are still being cleaned up. The Edens has cleaned up nicely. 19 minutes like Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. The Kennedy, 39 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Quicker in the locals than the Express, outbound 31 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, 48 minutes from Manheim, outbound 38 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. It's fine outbound. The Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to the Loop. Southbound Tri-State still heavy. Balmoral to the Bensonville Bridge. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
If you've never been to a coin show, here's your chance to find out what collectors and investors have known for years. It's fun, full of history, and it can be a great investment. Make plans to attend the Greater Chicago Coin, Currency, and Collectible Show. It's one of the largest in the nation, and it's free. The show is at the Tinley Park Convention Center, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, February 23rd through 25th. Admission and parking is free. Just bring your photo ID. Hundreds of dealers, the best coin dealers from all over the country. See displays valued at millions of dollars, U.S. and world paper money, gold and silver bullion, and a lot more. Friday at 5, Fox Valley Coins will hold a rare coin auction. This is a show for the whole family, collectors, investors, or if you just want to find out more about coins, currency, and collectibles. This show is a can't miss. The Greater Chicago Coin, Currency, and Collectible Show. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, February 23rd through the 25th at the Tinley Park Convention Center. Admission and parking is free with your photo ID. Get more information at chicagocoinshow.com. That's chicagocoinshow.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing, independently owned business bank. Signature Bank listens to your story, learns about your business, and sticks with their customers. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Kurt Penn, founder and CEO of Good Foods. In 2007, I was shopping in a natural foods grocery store and had a vision for a company that would produce fresh, all-natural foods with a social conscience. Signature Bank helped turn that vision into what now is Good Foods. Signature Bank President Mick O'Rourke listened to our story and learned about our business. Mick has been with us every step of the way. Signature Bank takes care of the details so we can focus on producing good foods. Signature Bank is deeply invested in our success. Good Foods is very proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so Sunday afternoon, great day to drop your pants at a moon a building. And that's what a few hundred professional agitators did before Trump Tower.
That was great. And the anticipation for the dropping and the songs that played afterward.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's a glandular problem.
It was great. And Upstream Ideas.
Yeah, we were there.
Yeah, you guys were there. And you've got the butt shot. You've got the money shot.
We've got the money shot, and we'll have that posted at upstream-ideas.com today.
Don't forget the dash.
Upstream-ideas.com.
Dash ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you forget the dash, you ain't getting to go see the butts.
Yeah, exactly. Not that, as predicted, they're not the butts you want to see. And also when they use their words, they're not the words you want to really hear either. But let's see what we've got over there in terms of, what comes out of both ends.
Stop it.
Anything intelligent? Well, here's a question that was put to one of the agitators.
Do you oppose fascism?
I do oppose fascism.
How about you?
Of course.
Do you support democratic socialism?
I'm an anarchist, so...
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, so, we the people is what I believe in.
Okay. How about you? Do you support democratic socialism?
I agree that we the people. It's
okay. Do you know the difference between, because a lot of people have been talking about these two different ideas, the difference between fascism and socialism? Is there a difference?
I don't dig too deep into the know-how of politics anyway. You can tell the fascisms and you can tell the socialisms.
Yeah, you can tell them. You can tell the fascisms and the socialisms, plurals. That's, little Judge Potter Stewart he's clearly invoking. What about your underwear guy?
My underwear guy? Oh, yeah, who dropped trow and had the America flag on.
They voted for Trump. There's millions of people that supported him. I went to the inauguration as well, so I met a lot of people in D.C. who were 100% behind his policies. What would you say to them?
I would say it's American who is entitled to believe what they want to believe, but I think that his policies are very misguided and misinformed. I'm not a political expert by any means. I'm standing here in my underwear.
Yeah.
It's great. Because you could tell he's looking around because he had no idea what he was talking about.
Conceding the point. That's why we're winning the hearts and minds of the Chadwick Moores out there.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, you might not sleep so well. But now, SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs, and it's completely hands-free. For a limited time, you can try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-400-0542.
SoClean changed the CPAP experience for the better. My health is